What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is Saturday, and yes, we are not here on Friday, but I am here, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. I am your host. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Happy, what is it? 16 days after Juneteenth. I don't know about y'all, but I was on the grill the other day, definitely throwing it down. Shout out to the wife, by the way, for also fixing all the sides and cleaning up all the stuff and allowing me to sit and focus on that grill and the charcoal and the ribs. Oh my God. Okay, I know the leftovers about to hit. I already know. But shout out to the wife for that. Let's see. We have got some things to talk about. We don't have a big live. It's not a lot. Usually when there are, holidays and stuff, the news kind of slows down a little bit, but I think I got enough. I think I got enough to kind of give you guys something interesting to think about and to talk about that we can all talk about. We definitely got to talk about Jurassic World Rebirth. I'll talk about that. Y'all movie, Fast and Furious got an update, interesting update. And then based off of Ironheart, I'm going to give you an interesting theory that so far I don't think anyone has talked about, and I hope maybe you guys will enjoy. So, I'm getting back into my theory roots. Okay, I know it's been a while. I've had to go back into the bag, and we're going back to the theory. So I got a little interesting theory I'm gonna throw y'all away, and we'll talk about that for sure. Oh, is my mic something wrong with my mic? Hold on, let me make sure. Let me see. Let me see. Oh my God, what the heck? Let's change this. Why is this not working? Hold on one second. Oh, this is a browser issue. You have my microphone. Give me 1 second. Hold on. The mic is on. Hold on. This is a browser thing. I don't know what's going on with this. Settings, yes. Microphone allow.
You like it?
Okay, yeah. Let's try to reset. Hold on.
Okay. I think I'm sorry. I don't know why this has been tripping. Why are you mirroring? No, don't mirror me. Okay, I think we're good. Can you guys hear me? Is it okay? Do I sound okay? Let me know if I sound okay. Test, test. Eternals is not a good movie. Test, test. Is it better? Okay. Google Chrome is tripping. I don't know what it is. Google Chrome must be tripping. It might be that bad juju from the whole Eternals commentary. I don't know. Sorry about that. Completely new. I had no idea that just be happening. Stuff just be happening. Okay, so where was I? I don't even want to touch nothing else because I feel like everything else about to have an issue. Hold on, let me make sure I got that too. Um, what? Hold on one second, y'all. My bad. I gotta make sure this thing actually works. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. Whew, man. Man. Talk about you gotta work on the fly. All right, let's do the normal. Let's go ahead and give some quick shout outs, see who is all here, and then we can get started. Paulette, what is up? Good to see you. My man Dexter Reason is here. Good to see you too. King Chad, how you doing? Good to see you. Jesus, what's up? Eugene, how are you? Mary J, I see you. My man Mike is back. What is going on? Lou, Treese, how are you? Jay, how are you? Mitch, what is up? My man Johnny Washington's here. Tracy, appreciate you coming through. Jerem, good to see you. Raymond, how are you? Claus, appreciate you coming through. Sim, hello. My man Matthew is here. Callow, hello. Mama J is in the building. Good to see you. Kristen, hello, hello. Alejandro, man, what is going on? It's been a minute. Rizzo, hello, hello. Tyra is here. Thank you so much. Jerome. What is going on? Good to see you. Rachel, good to see you. Sam K, hello, hello. Who else did I see? IMAX, appreciate you coming through. Zara, good to see you. Diane, good to see you too. Mitch, should I say what's up to you? What's up, Mitch? Just in case I missed you. Tony, good to see you. Got aloha, hello. Daz, hello. Here goes this guy. Y'all go follow him, but everybody got a different take, and he definitely has a different take. What's going on, sir? Davion, good to see you. Let's see. DePaul, hello. Super Neil, hello. Kung Fu, I see you. Let's see. Who did I see? What is this? Yo Mama. I was about to say, who's Yomo? Yo Mama, what is up? And shout out to everyone that's made it out today. I appreciate y'all. And thank you for putting up with this whole technical difficulties. We gonna get it together. We are gonna get it together. Oh man, S Tom, thank you so much for the super sticker. Really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting the channel the way that you do. That really makes a difference. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Let's do some quick updates. We will go through the sad stuff first in case you had not heard. Unfortunately, we lost some folks, over this week. Michael Madsen is one of those people that we have unfortunately lost. You might have known him from Tarantino films, like both of the Kill Bill movies, Reservoir Dogs. He was 67 years old, and it appears to be a cause of cardiac arrest. So unfortunately, he has passed away. I don't really know very much about him. I just know that when I've seen him in movies, I've liked him. He's been pretty cool. He's done some good work. So as an actor, I've liked his work. And of course, rest in peace and condolences to his friends and family. Even 67, you still got some more time, in my opinion. That's still a little too early. But yeah, rest in peace for sure. And this one kind of hurt too. And it was Julian McMahon. In case you did not know, Julian McMahon, he's been on FBI's Most Wanted, Charmed. Where I first saw him was Nip Tuck. Great show. And then, of course, Fantastic Four. He played Dr. Doom. I think he played a fantastic Dr. Doom. Like, he was, the movies might not have been top tier, but he delivered. And I like that guy. He was really, really good. But he was only 56. And unfortunately, once again, somebody has to die from cancer. I hate cancer so much. Like, it's just, it is one of the worst. One of the worst. But yeah, definitely rest in peace to Julian. I've never seen him do bad stuff in a movie or a TV show. Like, he's been always entertaining, would always deliver a solid performance. Definitely gone way too soon, and he will be missed. So condolences to his friends and family as well. All right, let's move forward. What else do we have? We got some other quick updates. For those of you that are fans, I have not watched this season yet. The Bear season 4 is currently out right now. But in case you are a fan and you love it and you want to get some more of it, season 5 has been renewed. So the Bear is going to keep on bearing. It's going to keep on chugging. So if you are excited for this, feel free to let me know. I heard that season 4 was not as good as the previous seasons. I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know. I can't really verify that or not. I will say that I have enjoyed The Bear so far. I've enjoyed season 1 through 3. Even though I do think 3 kind of slowed down a little bit. But hey, if they got another one coming, I'm with it. I am with it. So that is something you can look forward to. We do have another. Oh, so this I absolutely am interested in, and that is Godzilla -1. We finally have some art, or I guess an image. It's a first look image of what we can expect. And here it is. We got the first look at Godzilla -1, and this is from the director. And this is his design of Mecha Godzilla. Now, they say here this design will be used for the Godzilla The Ride, The Great Clash. So that ride is going to be opening soon. And that's going to be at an amusement park in Japan. So, I mean, listen, I will say I loved Godzilla -1. Absolutely loved it. To bring about Mecha Godzilla this soon, I am a little cautious about that. I was under the impression that we would get something else like, Mothra or, Rodan or just some other bigger creature to go against Godzilla. But here's the thing. Godzilla -1 did a whole lot with very little. So, and they blew my expectations away. At this point, I'm not going to doubt the director. Now, I doubt the creative choices here, but I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to watch this. You gave me greatness before. I have to give you the benefit of the doubt that even if I have my concerns with Mega Godzilla right now, I'm with this. I will go check this out. So you guys let me know. Are you looking forward to a Mecha Godzilla? Are you looking forward to Godzilla? I think they need to call it -2. That I think they need to do that. But y'all let me know. How do you feel about that? And that image. I like the image. The image looked kind of sharp too. I'm with that. I didn't even want to make this next thing its own separate topic because at this point I have such a mix of emotions that I don't know how to process them yet. And it's with the Street Fighter casting. We've talked about this multiple times. From the very first day of the Street Fighter casting, I told you I was a little shaky on it. I was like, okay, I like the first dude, I don't like the second dude. Then the next time with, Roman Reigns, the wrestler, and then Jason Momoa, I'm like, y'all getting a little shaky. And then all of a sudden, y'all bring in 50 Cent. I'm sitting here like, and then Andrew Schultz, the comedian, to play a Japanese character at that. I'm like, I literally made a tweet and I wanted to specifically mention an at Capcom and Legendary. And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, let me know if we are supposed to look at this like it's a comedy. Because this feels like an SNL skit. This feels like it's one of those straight to YouTube fan casted type of thing. That it does not look or sound like we should take this seriously. And I don't mean seriously as in like, oh, ha ha ha, this is funny. No, I think y'all are gonna put this out there like y'all really think y'all got a banger on your hands. And meanwhile, you stay hiring people that are either miscast, probably are not right for the role, or the performances are going to be shaky. I mean, there were one or two decent actors here and there. Now, they did talk about Walton Goggins might have been in the running to play M. Bison. Again, his acting ability is through the roof. I'm not questioning that. But dang it, he don't look nothing or even give off the vibes of an M. Bison. And right when I'm sitting here thinking like, maybe Walton wouldn't be bad. At least it'll be an interesting thing or something. We got our new M. Bison. And it ain't him. The new M. Bison is now David Dasmalchian. And he is now going to be the M. Bison. Now, once again, I like this actor. I really do. What was the movie he just did? I think it was Interview with the Devil, Late Night with the Devil, or something like that. Great actor. Played Polka Dot Man, in Suicide Squad. Good, solid actor. M. Bison is supposed to be like a whole problem for everybody in Street Fighter. Everybody. Like, you can't walk to M. Bison without him being a problem. I don't get those vibes from David. I just don't. Now, maybe his acting chops will come through and it'll, change it. I don't know, but I already can't take this movie seriously. And then, not only that, but we sitting here getting another casting. Now, this I could stomach this. It wouldn't be my favorite, but I can stomach it. But this right here, y'all playing around. Because they talking about Cody Rhodes, who is a WWE wrestler. Y'all about to have Cody Rhodes come in and play Guile in the live action Street Fighter movie. Let me tell you something. I'm not talking about Cody Rhodes as a person. Like, he sounds like a stand-up dude. I see him off camera. Seems cool. Like, seems like somebody I'd have a beer with. Like, so this ain't nothing personal. I'm not a fan of Cody Rhodes, even as a wrestler. Just as a wrestler, I'm not even a fan of his. Okay, now maybe it's because he was going against my tribal chief, Roman Reigns, but that's a whole different story. I'm not a fan of his character. I'm not a fan of his I'm not a fan of his character in the WWE. I want to make sure I make that clear. God, I really don't want this to sound mean, but I'm going to have a very hard time taking Cody Rhodes seriously playing Guile. And if you don't know Cody Rhodes, and I'm only saying this because he has brought it up. He has made fun of himself about it. Cody Rhodes has a very strong lisp. Okay? He has a very strong lisp. I mean, we're talking Mike Tyson level lisp. Okay? There's no way you about to have me in the theaters watching Cody Rhodes giving people a flash kick a flash kick. You know his move. You know, he got two moves. It's a flash kick. Y'all about to have this man say flash kick? Y'all about to have him say sonic boom? Sonic boom. I'm leaving the theater. I'm leaving the theater if y'all about to have this man say sonic boom. Sonic boom. No. 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 Why did y'all cast him? Why are y'all even in talks? They saying it's in talks. Why? Because he got blonde hair? That's not even his natural hair color. He got black brunette hair. Who is in charge of this casting? Who? Because I got questions. The first one is why. The second one is how. The third one is why again. Oh, I don't understand this, man. I just don't. Like, what's wild to me is that these are the people that get paid the big bucks to make these decisions. You don't even need the. You could have asked Chat GPT who would have been better actors to cast, and I gotta feel. Let's do it. Let's do it. I just want to see. I just want to see if Chat could come up with better actors. Chat, I would like to cast an actor for a live action Street Fighter movie. Can you give me 5 names? 5 top names. Let's do this real quick. Let me put this up here for you. Who they got? Lewis 10. Okay, Ryu. Okay. Oh yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. Chat. I want the character guy. Cass. Give me a list for Guile only. Top 5 for Guile. Alexander Skarsgård. Okay. Glenn Powell. You could put him in almost anything. Alan Richardson. Now, Alan Richardson was kind of in the talks. I mean, like, people was kind of putting his name out there. I wouldn't have been mad at that. Chris Hemsworth. Not even American, but he could do it. Scott Eastwood. Oh my God. How is Chat a better casting director than actual casting directors? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And these would work. Every single one of these would work. Like, I would take any one of them over Cody Rhodes. Y'all not serious. Y'all are not serious people. I can't take y'all seriously. I cannot. I just can't. That went on too long. I'm sorry. I should have made that another thing. Whatever. Last thing we got is it's actually more of a rumor, and it's from Daniel RPK. So we can take it with a small grain of salt, just smaller. But he says here that Marvel Studios is reportedly deciding whether they want to develop Strange Academy and Nova as TV shows or movies. So, here's if I had to, I think based off of where Marvel is right now, because Phase 5 is done. Ooh, and it was rough. Fantastic Four is going to kick off Phase 6. I do think that Strange Academy should be a TV show. Let's just be honest. The audience that you have cultivated in the MCU so far from 2008 ain't really checking for young teen movies or young kid movies like that. I don't believe they are. I believe that they will watch it, But I don't believe they'll be like, hey, let me grab $20 per person to go watch a bunch of younger kids, younger teens, and magic. I don't see that there. I especially with there not being enough of a following already. It's not like Minecraft, right? Like Minecraft has already got its following. So of course, if you put that up there, you know, or Five Nights at Freddy's, it already has a following. That would make sense. I don't think it makes sense for Marvel to do that unless you're going to put Doctor Strange in it, which I doubt, because Strange Academy is more so maybe a Wong thing for the MCU. And given the fact that we do have Zelma from Ironheart, I think she's a perfect natural fit, obviously, for this. That's where she is in the comics as well. So Strange Academy's got to be TV. Nova, maybe. I think that's going to depend on two things. One, how well does Fantastic Four work? Does Fantastic Four work in with the space and the travel and exploration? Does that work for Nova? Two, who are you going to cast? Because if you're going to cast like a Richard Rider type of character or whatever, I do think the actor is going to matter in terms of drawing in who this person, or you know, the audience. I'm not saying you need a Glenn Powell or, you know, type, but I do think, like, you know, if it's Austin Butler, you know, or if it's somebody who can get potentially some butts in the seats, some young up and coming actor, I think that would be the only way you justify making this actually a movie. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind a TV show for Nova because it does have other implications. You know, we could tie that in with the Nova Corps, obviously with Thanos taking the Infinity Stone and stuff like that. You could do other things in that way, tie in other intergalactic concepts. It could be a nice way to follow up Fantastic Four. But I don't know. I mean, if either of these had potential to be a movie, it would be Nova. But at the same time, and I've said this before, Marvel has got to stop. They have got to stop thinking that they can still play by the tune that they played back in 2008, 2010. You are not in phase one no more. You do not have your hands tied anymore. You already hit too many bumps in the road by doing too much with characters that did not have enough cachet. You can't keep playing that game anymore. Y'all are at the point where you need to stick with your heavy hitters. Y'all have to stick with your with the franchise players at this point. You got to make those work. You got to make Spider-Man work, which you do. You have to make X-Men work. Fantastic Four better work. You need a Hulk movie eventually. You have got to start doing bangers and be consistent with those to rebuild the trust with the audience, and then you can start playing around with more obscure characters. Y'all are losing a lot of faith. And the numbers are kind of showing. Thunderbolts, good movie, but it barely made the kind of money that it should have. Sam Wilson's Captain America, decent movie, but you would think that it was like worse based off of the numbers that it made. So at this point, y'all are running thin on people's patience, and you got to stick to the. Listen, y'all got Fantastic Four. That's going to be, I think it'll be good. You got Doomsday. You got Secret Wars. You got Spider-Man. I think that'll be a nice little run where people will be like, oh, yeah, Marvel's back. And then you got Spider-Man coming right after that. I think that's going to be solid. X-Men needs to be a home run. No question. Don't play no games with it. Y'all need that to win. If y'all put that string together and throw Blade in there, go ahead and throw Blade in there if you want $1 billion. But if y'all do that for at least the next 2-3 years, then you can start experimenting again. because people will have renewed faith. But I don't know. Y'all let me know. What do you think about all of these updates? What do you think about the Nova thing, Street Fighter thing, all of that we talked about? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Mike Conley, thank you so much. If done right, Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat can be huge like the MCU. You right. You absolutely right. If done right. I don't trust the people that are in charge right now. And that kind of goes both ways. I'm trying to have more hope for Mortal Kombat. I'm trying, but based off of what I saw before, based off of what I heard last time, that they want to make it bigger and funnier. It's like y'all would have been better off not saying nothing. And I would have just been going in on the blind faith that maybe you figured it out. Maybe. But sometimes they talk themselves out of confidence. Like, and Street Fighter, unless you talking to me about the people that did the animated movies, I don't have very much trust in the people doing live action, especially not based off of this casting. Every single person in here is going to have to put on damn near an Oscar award, level performance. I need to see every single one of them in the dojo. All of them, even 50. Get your gloves. I want you fighting against a martial artist so you could practice. Like, I need everybody to post they train and fight videos just to give me a little more confidence. Just to do that. So, but yeah, that's the sad thing. The potential is absolutely there. It's absolutely there. But I don't know. Like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, do y'all even know the games? Do y'all even know, like, or did you just see a franchise and say, "Ooh, I know franchises in Hollywood do well"? Like, did you at no point did you like sit down, play it, try and understand it? Because it feels like every time or most times we get a video game adaptation from people that did not grow up playing those video games, they turn out bad. I don't know. Quiet one. This Street Fighter casting experience feels like the longest episode of Punk. Perfectly said. It feels like a joke. Every time. I'm sitting here like, when are they going to come out and be like, gotcha? Just, when? I'm waiting for them to say, you know what? We was just playing, y'all. This is all actually just casting for a Street Fighter commercial. We're doing a Gatorade commercial, and this is just the cast for that commercial. That's what I'm hoping they say. Because at this point, I'm just like, ain't no way y'all paying real money for this pre-flop. There's no way. Because you're hiring people that also can't act. Roman Reigns, I love my tribal chief. He's not a solid actor yet. Maybe he will in the future. But what we saw from what was that Fast and the Furious movie, that spinoff or whatever, Hobbs and Shaw. Ugh. What does boy say? 4 letters, 1 word. Ugh. You know, like he's not good. Cody Rhodes, an actor? Yikes. No. 50? Anyway, yes, totally agree with you. Let's see. JN, Marvel needs to focus on writing. See Ironheart. I mean, my issue with that. I've expressed my issues with the writing. Absolutely, yes. JN's side note, you were right about Street Fighter. Nasty work. Unfortunately, we just can't have nice things, and that's the part that bothers me, because I do want a good Street Fighter. Like, I want that. I really, really do want that, but guess not. All right, let's do this quick thing. Now, this is gonna be from my 80s babies, 90s kids, 90s teens. Crimson Tide. Do y'all remember that movie, Crimson Tide, with the legendary Gene Hackman and the also legendary Denzel Washington? I will tell you right now, I don't remember this movie at all. What I do remember was that it was fantastic. I also remember the fact that when I watched it, I was a child. So I didn't understand half of what was going on. I just knew Denzel is doing what Denzel does. Gene Hackman was doing what he does. There was tension, there was action. That's all I remember. So I definitely want to do a rewatch of this with my more mature adult eyes, my critic brain. But what I found interesting was the fact that it looks like we might have some more coming. So it says here that, and this is Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer, says that we have a really good director and writer talking to the Navy right now about what's going on under the water. Why? Because they want to make a Crimson Tide sequel. He goes on to say, in regards to if Denzel will come back, he says here, if we give him a good script, I think he'd do it. Now, they do say a source close to Washington confirmed that any participation in Crimson Tide 2 is script dependent and there's no finished screenplay yet. So if they want Denzel, and it seems like this is a recurring theme for him, that script better be legit. Here's my question. Mr. Washington, I thought you was retired. I thought you was done. How you gonna sit here in a whole interview? You shook up the world by saying that you was gonna retire from acting, and you said that you was only gonna do about 5 movies. You know, you was gonna do Othello, you was gonna do this, and then all of a sudden, you about to be in the Equalizer Part 8. You about to be in Black Panther 3. Now you just considering Crimson Tide. Sir, just say you don't want to retire yet. And that's okay. That's okay. If you want to keep doing this, I'm pretty sure many of us will keep coming out and showing up for you. Matter of fact, you got another movie coming out with Spike Lee, High and Low. So do we stop believing Denzel? Is that where we're at now? I mean, I'm not complaining. I like Denzel movies. I'm still gonna show up for them. I'm just saying, I thought you was done. Anyway, if they end up doing a sequel to this, I will absolutely go rewatch the first one because, again, I don't remember what happened. But you guys let me know, how do you feel about a Crimson Tide sequel? Is this something that you think is worth watching? Is this something that should happen? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Okay, hold on. Whew. Sorry, this heat wave is crazy. I need to put my turn on this air. Okay. We do have. Ooh, JN. Would have loved to see Majors Denzel Crimson Tide 2. That would be solid. And I think, again, if the script is solid, if it's good, and I think Hollywood is kind of, moving on the whole Jonathan Majors thing, I think that would be a fantastic story and movie. I think that would work. All right, we have, what's her name? Oh, yeah. Cynthia Erivo. You know her from Wicked. You know her from, all these different things. She is now she's got a new movie coming out. And it's from Universal, and it's based off of this book called Saturation Point, which I have not read. This is new to me. It says here, Cynthia Erivo has teamed up with Michael Bay and Brad Fuller to adapt the sci-fi adaptation thriller Saturation Point for Universal. Now, let's just see what this is about. It says here, the book is part climate thriller, which the Earth has a zone so hot and humid, it makes it hard for humans to survive. Naturally, into this zone must go our protagonist, Dr. Jasmine Marks, who leads a search and rescue mission and who will discover that the zone is far deadlier than initially believed. Not only that, her corporate bosses may not be telling the truth, and not all forms of intelligent life in the zone are necessarily human. Okay. This honestly sounds like what I was hoping Jurassic Park would be. And the concept is something that I find interesting. And that's about it. I just kind of want to see like what y'all gonna have to give me a trailer. You're gonna have to give me a trailer, but at least the concept from the book is interesting. I mean, are we talking about like, prehistoric creatures? Are we talking about aliens? Like, I don't know, but I am kind of curious as to or are we talking about kaiju? Because this sounds like a prequel to Pacific Rim in a sense. That's what it sounds like. So I don't know. You guys let me know. Does this sound interesting to you? Does this sound like something you would watch? Whatever you think, feel free to let me know your thoughts. Speaking of alien stuff, Predator. We have an update for Predator, and I don't like it. I don't like it. So Predator, first of all, I already gave y'all my review for the last Predator animated Killer of Killers. Fantastic, amazing, great. Definitely go watch that for all Predator fans. Now, Predator Killer of Killers, as much as I loved it, it was made by the same guy that made Prey. Also enjoyed that. And he, so he did Prey, he did Killer of Killers, and he's also doing Predator Badlands, Dan Trachtenberg. So love his work so far. And one thing that I'm not loving is what he did in the trailer for Predator Badlands. Now, I didn't notice. I was trying to kind of maybe conveniently ignore it, but it seems like he confirmed something in the trailer that a lot of other people suspected. And again, I was trying to be like, no, it ain't that. It's got to be something different, but it looks like it is what it is. So I don't even know if this is a spoiler because it was in the first trailer, but it's about Elle Fanning's character, the girl that was in the tree that was hung up or whatever. So he has actually confirmed what a lot of people thought. And it says here that Fanning plays two characters in Badlands, one yet to be revealed, and the other being Thea, who was, as the trailer reveals, is indeed a Weyland-Yutani android. According to Trachtenberg, I always wanted no humans in this movie, so I thought it might be fun to have the Predator with a robot. The opportunity to make a connection to Alien was too good to pass up. Then I thought, I know a company that makes robots. One is going to be talkative. The other one is going to be laconic or not as talkative. As exciting and violent as this movie is, the character stuff really pops. My issue with this, and I think Fede Alvarez kind of talked about this too. Why would you tell us that Alien and Predator are connected? Because the Alien and Predator franchise, that whole little series, or those two movies, that was kind of sort of getting retconned out because of Prometheus. That movie kind of sort of established that like, the aliens, we doing something else, right? But it seems like they're bringing that back. They're bringing that connection back. It's not retcon. And to connect the alien or the android to Predator directly, only furthers the connection. And I think what Fede was talking about was if they were going to do any connections, they wouldn't broadcast it, right? He was like, man, if I was doing a Predator movie, I would just have the alien show up and nobody would know it, right? Like you wouldn't know, it would just happen and it would be a nice surprise. I don't like the fact that, this is not a surprise. So anyway, this is just one other thing that they could have. They could have retconned. They could have fixed it. I know it was brought up in Predator 2 as well, but you know, it's just kind of like, come on, man. Like, y'all could have just kept it under wraps. That's all. I'm just saying. You could have shown the same girl, right? You could have shown her up here. You didn't have to show her eyes going white because we know that's what the androids. I'm just saying, you could. It was 1 second that you could have just blotted out. Just 1 second. Anyway, y'all let me know. Does this make or break or do anything for you with the Predator franchise? Does it mean anything? If not, that's cool too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do we want to do that yet? No. Hold on. Okay. I'll do that one later. Actually, let me see if that worked. Did it work? Ooh, okay, so we can watch that. Sorry, I'm just looking to see if there's a trailer we can watch. Trying to test it on YouTube right now. See if YouTube is going to be tripping. So far, it's saying it will not trip, so we can watch that later. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Let's talk about. Wait, where's this stuff? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Let's talk about Pitt Warning. And this is a Pitt Warning from Brad Pitt. You know, he's got a new movie out called F1. I feel bad I did not go see F1. This was definitely a miss for me because I thought it was going to be just another race car movie, but I've heard nothing but good things. I've heard very, very good things. So this might be something I'll catch on streaming. It might be something, if I'm bored, I'll catch on the late night, trip to the theater or something. But he's been obviously in the news and in the eye because of this whole F1 movie. And what was interesting was like he was on the Kelsey Brothers podcast, and something came up about his advice for new up and coming actors, and I thought it was kind of interesting. So he said here, I like watching what the new generation is coming up with. I like to see what they're up against and the way they negotiate and work their way through it. They enjoy it more. We were more uptight, and it had to be about acting. Like, you didn't sell out. You didn't sell out. But now it's like, we can be artists in many different arenas. So let's do it and let's enjoy it. But they also get caught up in you have to have a franchise or you have to have a superhero. But I keep saying, don't. They'll die. So this is not new, right? I mean, he even talked about how Leonardo DiCaprio would say to him as well, hey, don't do, there are two things I don't do. I think he said this to Timothée Chalamet. And he was just like, I don't do drugs and I don't do superhero movies. Okay. So here's the problem, I think, with Brad Pitt's mentality on this. For one, franchises, in my opinion, feel like a potential retirement plan for actors. I look at someone like Mark Hamill. Star Wars came out years ago, like decades ago. If this man wanted to actually get back into the franchise in some way, somehow, he could do that. He could do that. He can go to conventions because of that franchise and still make money. So I don't see why or how you could sit here and tell young actors that they will die, the franchise will die. Last time I checked, I'm pretty sure Daniel Radcliffe, he might still be getting a little bread off of Harry Potter. You look at him and you still be like, that's Harry Potter. I'm just saying sometimes these franchises, more often than not, will actually keep you relevant rather than not. Now, I do believe that Brad Pitt is coming from a place of privilege. And what I mean by that is he's in that upper 2% of Hollywood that if he wants to do something, he could just get it. He probably doesn't have to audition. He probably can call up whoever, or he probably has hella calls coming to him, probably has a whole bunch of scripts. He has the privilege that hundreds of thousands of working actors don't have. And for him to sit here and tell them, nah, don't do that franchise, it's going, man, what? That I'm trying to think of like, think about Robert Pattinson. Hey, Robert Pattinson, don't do Twilight. Do y'all think we would care about who or even know Robert Pattinson if he was not in Twilight and that Twilight didn't bump his name up into the atmosphere? I mean, sure, yeah, now he can jump into different things and do like Mickey 17 or, Bad Day. He could do all these other movies, but thank you, franchise of Twilight, for making me a household name with people. Like, thank you for giving me a fan base. So I fundamentally disagree with Brad Pitt's ideology here. I think that, yeah, if you came from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, you're absolutely right. You don't want to bank on a franchise. However, times have changed. People have changed. Theaters have changed. Last time I checked, people only show up for franchise movies more than they do original stuff. So, yeah, if that advice he's giving to young actors, I'd be like, hey, man, is it a good franchise? Is this something that's got like some potential? You better go take that call. Everybody can't be Leonardo DiCaprio. Everyone can't be Brad Pitt. There's a whole bunch of people that just need to work. And maybe that franchise is all they get. And that's all the royalty they're going to get. And that's a whole lot better than trying to hold out for something that might not ever happen. So anyway, y'all let me know. Maybe I'm wrong here. Like, how do you feel about Brad Pitt's commentary with franchises? Listen, in my opinion, I say do both. Do a franchise and then use that franchise to get your name out there and go ahead and get other things if you want to. But listen, if it ain't popping for you, you better sit your butt back in that franchise and milk that. Milk that. Anyway, y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, let's do this before we start rolling out the videos. I got a couple videos for us to watch. Yeah, let's do this first. So we got a Last of Us update. In case you haven't been following, obviously I've been covering Last of Us for a while. By the way, I did buy the games. I bought 1 and 2. They were on sale. Got them for $30. Felt very good about that. So I will be playing the games for finally. I'm not sure exactly when. I actually just got, thank you to my job. I just got a new work computer. So I'll be using that on off the clock, of course. But yes, I do have a new computer. So I have to hook that up, get that set up. And then we might do a little streaming. We might, I ain't never streamed playing games before. So I don't know what y'all be expecting, but I'm gonna hook it up, and then I'm guessing because a lot of y'all was like, "E-Man, you gotta play the game." E-Man, a lot of y'all know I don't mess with scary games. I'll watch scary movies, but I don't mess with scary games. I don't know. It's a psychological control thing. I don't like it. I think a lot of y'all just want to see me freak out. I think that's what it really is, but y'all don't care. Y'all just want to see me in pain, so it's fine. Anyway, Last of Us. So far, first season, I thought very solid. Second season, not as strong as the first, right? Not as strong. So, in case you did not know, the actual creator of The Last of Us, Neil Druckmann, he was a part of making not only the games, but also the show. So now we have an update on his involvement for the future seasons. And it says here, Neil Druckmann has announced that he is stepping away from the Last of Us TV series at HBO. He said, I've made the difficult decision to step away from my creative involvement in The Last of Us on HBO. With work completed on season 2 and before any meaningful work starts on season 3, now is the right time for me to transition my complete focus to Naughty Dog and its future projects, including writing and directing our exciting next game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, along with my responsibilities as studio head and head of creative. Whew, man. So he's gone. The guy who was responsible for The Last of Us. This feels like George R.R. Martin stepping away from Game of Thrones. And we saw what happened with that finale. I loved the fact that the creator is actually involved with the process. He is getting down with. I loved that. But I'm nervous. I'd be lying if I said I was not nervous about the fact that this man is now stepping away. And he said before any meaningful work could be done on season 3. To make things even worse, Haley Gross has also announced she will no longer be working on the series. She previously co-wrote The Last of Us Part 2 with Druckmann and worked as an executive producer and writer on the series. So even the co-writer and the co-creator for Part 2, she gone too. Yikes. Now, what's the dude's name? Craig Mazin. You know, he's the guy who's going to basically take in charge. He's going to be in charge of everything moving forward. He's going to be writing it as well. I mean, he did do Chernobyl, so it's not like he's some slouch. Chernobyl was a solid, I want to say it was award-winning series. But I can't say I'm not a little nervous that when the creator of the show, because what I think was interesting was how the creator of the show, Neil Druckmann, would be so involved that when you listen to like some of the behind the scenes conversations, he would talk about like, hey, we did this in the game, but we always wanted to look at this, so we did this different in the show. My question is, does Craig have that kind of mentality? Does he know the things that y'all wanted to do, but y'all didn't do? And do you know when to bob and weave to make the show more interesting? Or are you just going to follow the games? And I don't know if that's the best course, because I've been hearing mixed reactions from those of y'all that played the game. So season 3 is going to be all about Abby. And there's possibly a season 4. It was already a blow. Spoiler alert, by the way. It was already a blow that you were losing Pedro Pascal. We knew it was coming, but they kicked that off early. Y'all about to pivot into another character story, and the creator and co-creator and co-writer are not there. I don't know. This I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this. Y'all let me know. How do you feel about it? Does this make you worried? Is this a red flag? Is it a yellow flag? Is it no flag? Whatever y'all think, let me know in the comments down below, because I'm nervous. I'm nervous on if this is gonna be good for the show or not. All right. Let's move on. Let's do some videos. Let's go through some videos. And I want to talk about the Hollywood stars. So, in case you did not know, I'm sure you guys know, if you go down to LA and to Hollywood, you will see a lot of, the walk of stars, the street where all the Hollywood stars, they have their names on the cement. They put their little handprints, whatever, all that good stuff. And what we saw recently was the actor Keith David. Now, you know Keith David. And if you don't know Keith David, you've at least heard his voice. You've at least heard his voice. The Walk of Fame. Thank you so much, kid. But Keith David was actually watching this. And, you know, he was watching it because, you know, there were other actors there that he likes and he knows, and he just wanted to support them as they were getting their flowers, right? So he was watching this, and I just thought that this was like really beautiful, and I wanted to share this. So let's watch him watch them get their flowers.
French actress Marion Cotillard. Well, she's well known here in the US for Marion Cotillard. Actor Keith David. Actress Rachel McAdams. This one is
Happy 70th birthday.
Oh my God.
And it was his 70th birthday.
Sorry. The Pride of Italy.
I love it.
Franco Nero.
Oh God.
Bollywood star Padukone. The iconic Molly Ringwald.
Oh,
And one of the classiest.
I love that. I just love that. This man has been in the industry for years. He has been like phenomenal for years. I thought that this was a beautiful surprise. Just that face that you know, he really was not expecting that. And I just thought it was beautiful. I love this. I love when we finally give them their flowers while they're still here. And they can see it, they can feel it, they can cherish it. I'm shocked it took him this long to give this man this Hollywood, you know, star. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been in the game for a long time, and he ain't no slouch. Okay, he's no slouch. So, you know, shout out to Keith David. Happy belated birthday. The dude is a voice legend. We was talking about just the acting. The voice acting in itself is legendary. Okay, just legendary. So yeah, shout out to Goliath. Shout out to Spawn. You know, this man was everything. Wasn't he T'Challa? No, that was the other one. I think, was he ever T'Challa? I don't know if he was. But anyway, either way, shout out to him. That was a beautiful, beautiful tribute. Just a beautiful moment for him. So I'm really, really happy for him. All right. Let's see. JN. After that white savior role in 12 Years a Slave, just be quiet, Pitt. I'd love to do a franchise and be at Comic-Con every year. Most actors would too. Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, right? Like when you're in a franchise, you can keep that like I don't know what he thinks it dies means. Like I don't think he gets that. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean it dies? Like that they don't make movies? Like, I'm pretty sure there's a Harry Potter convention out there somewhere. You know, I'm pretty sure that with the new TV show coming out, the rejuvenation of the whole fan base is going to be reignited. So, like, I don't know what he's talking about. Sir Shy, too bad Ironheart and Acolyte won't get season 2. I mean, I don't know about Ironheart. I know Acolyte at least is not getting a season 2. I do think it should get a season 2. Actually, yeah, I think Acolyte should get a season 2, but they got to get rid of the writers and directors. You got to get a new team in there, and because the foundation of what they were trying to do, you know, the origin of the Sith and stuff like that would have worked. I want to explore that. I just don't want this creative team to do it. So I think they do need to move on from that. Ironheart, I wouldn't mind a second season. And I'd have to be honest, y'all gonna have to get another writer. Or add a writer to the mix. Add a second writer in there to help polish some things up. It needs some help. It needs some help. JN, why did DJ Khaled get a star before Keith David? That's wild. I don't know. That is wild. I guess all he does is win. I guess. Yeah. All he does is win. Let's see. Alejandro, I'm gone for a minute. You making me cry, man. Keith, well deserved. Hey, it wasn't my fault. I ain't gonna lie. First time I saw this, a good old thug tear did roll down. Just it's just we don't usually get to see black joy, just pure, unadulterated black joy, and especially when it comes to the older folks. Because, like I said, I'm just happy that it's coming to him now rather than, oh, by the way, Keith David passed away, and hey, he was so good. He was like, why didn't y'all say that when he was here? So, yes, give this man his flowers now. I love it. That's what I like to see. But thank you so much for that. Kit, what you got? Thank you so much. The Last of Us lost their sauce for season 2. Not gonna disagree with that. They moved too fast-paced character backstory and too slow in regards to the plot. The pacing was all off. I don't know about season 3. I don't know. Listen, I have similar concerns. Very, very similar concerns. But ma'am, this is not actually what I want to see from you. You know what I want to hear. I need to know if you've seen 28 Years Later. We've had this conversation. I know I'm putting your personal business out there. I need to know if you have watched 28 Years Later. We have to have a discussion and an argument based off of what you felt about the movie. So I know I'm not even being professional right now, but I'm letting you know right now. I need to know what the verdict is with this. My man Mike Kirby got his star, just needs his other leg. There you go. Good one. Thank you for that. Let's see. What's up? My top 3 best iconic voices: James Earl Jones, Keith David, R&B singer Barry White. Oh yeah, I mean, if you're talking about iconic voices, you nailed it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, if you're talking about acting, if we took Barry White out and we kept it to acting, would Morgan Freeman be up there? Would Morgan be on the next one? I don't know. I know I'm probably missing some other. I mean, could one make the argument? No, I wouldn't do it. I was going to say Sam Jackson, but he's not really a voice actor like that. But his voice is extremely recognizable. You know Sam Jackson's voice if you hear it. Morgan Freeman can narrate somebody's life, everybody's life, and y'all would be cool with it. But yeah. Anywho, Kid coming back. My biggest issue with Ironheart, which isn't an issue, is the cliffhanger because of Disney's their reputation on canceling shows. Who is this villain connected to in the MCU? I love that you asked that question because that is one of my theories for later on. Thank you so much for bringing that energy up because I am going to give you who I believe that villain is connected to, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to hear what you guys think. So stay tuned. I got you. And what you say? I'm going to watch this weekend. You know what? See, you said that last weekend. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate you. Okay. All right. What else do we have? We got. Well, we got our first teaser trailer for the upcoming MCU project, Eyes of Wakanda. As you know, this is going to be a new animated series from Ryan Coogler as an executive producer. And it is also a story about Wakandans. maybe a Black Panther of somewhere somehow shows up. But it's Wakandan. So let's take a look at this new teaser trailer. All right. Here we go.
Wakanda is a kingdom of many secrets.
Okay. It looks like, you know, they're using the same art style as what was that, Arcane on Netflix. I'm sorry, like, as much as I love Black Panther, I don't know how excited I am about this. Again, that was just a teaser. Now, will I watch it? Yes. I will watch it because this is the kind of stuff, like, I geek out and nerd out over these things anyway. But I'd be lying if I said I was excited over it. It's okay. Like, what do you want me to tell? What do you want to tell me about the background folks? Because that's what this is. Let's be honest. This is all background stuff. We're not talking about no lead characters here. We're not talking about no lead protagonists. We're talking about a setting and supporting characters. Which, yes, Disney Plus is the place for that, but it doesn't mean that we need a whole show over it. I don't know. I feel like this should have just been a Disney Plus special if you have to show us this, but okay. I don't know. How do y'all feel about the Eyes of Wakanda trailer? Is this something that you're looking forward to? I'm actually not too mad about the art. The art looks okay. I know the still images before I didn't really like them, but now kind of seeing it in motion, I'm like, I could get used to it. If I could get used to it for Arcane, I could get used to it for this. But y'all let me know what you think in the comments down below. We also have another trailer. This is Project Hail Mary. I believe this is the Ryan Gosling movie that is going to come out. This was produced from, what is it? Lord and Miller. Lord and Miller. So we got Ryan Gosling. Should I bring out the cart for everyone, or is it kind of like if the cart's already out, it's already out? Like, do we have, I don't know if we've ever made a strict rule over this. I know, God forbid, I can't show y'all a trailer without rolling it out, but once it's out, it's kind of out, right? Or do I need to roll it out every time? I don't know. Did we ever establish this? It's already out. Okay, cool. All right. I don't want to play it out, you know, but anyway. All right, let's see this new trailer for Ryan Gosling's. This looks like a sci-fi. I don't know if it's comedy or drama. I don't know. But let's check this out. All right. Wow. Okay. Listen. This definitely is giving me the Martian vibes. It's also giving me the same vibes from Three Body Problem. I mean, it's from Lord and Miller, so I'm like, is it going to be a comedy? I don't know. The only thing I do kind of wish is that I wish they didn't show the alien thing. I mean, you already sold me on you're the only one that can save us. If you stay, you will die. We need your help. I swear, that's a 1990s simple plot line that's Armageddon. Hey, we need a special team of people that all of a sudden can go on the moon, make a drill, and then, you know, explode immediately. Like, that's all we need. I mean, I like Lord and Miller a lot, so I will watch this. Now, I will say that I'm also a little curious and apprehensive because Ryan Gosling has a habit of being in movies that look one way in the trailers and all of a sudden turn out to be something very different. Drive, for example, or Unforgiven, or not. Was it Unforgiven? No. Yeah, I think it was Unforgiven. Yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it. But something just kind of, I don't know. I don't like that they show the alien. That's the only part that bothered me. Like, I would have liked the movie to show me that later, but anyway. Y'all let me know. How did you feel about Project Hail Mary? Is this something interesting enough for you to go to the theaters to go watch? Or is this something that you would want to see streaming, or maybe not at all? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. Let me get Mike. What you got? Without T'Challa, I'm not in regardless, but unfortunately, I'm gonna still watch too. Yeah, that like again, I don't see DC out there making a Krypton TV animated series. I mean, if they did, would I watch? Maybe, but I barely wanted to watch the Krypton live action TV show, so I don't know. But thank you so much for that. Quiet One, what you got? Eyes of Wakanda should be a Marvel special presentation like Werewolf by Night. Totally agree with that. I think that would be fine. You get it in, out, and done. Or they could just drop all the episodes altogether. They could do that too. JN, Donald Glover would have been great as the lead. Maybe I can see that, but Hollywood love them some Ryan Gosling. I still don't get it. But he gets that Hollywood push. Anthony, what up? Just got in from celebrating my birthday. Happy birthday to Anthony. Congratulations on having it be your day. Hopefully you had a wonderful celebration. Thank you so much. All right. Drive led to a lawsuit for false advertising. Is that true? Wow. Good. Because I remember looking at that trailer and I was like, oh, this is going to be like a racing movie. This is going to be... No, not at all. Not at all. Thank you for that. Let's see. What else do we have? Wait, no, didn't I have something else? Do I have another? Hold on. Let me see if I got another. I think that's it for the trailers. Yes, that's it for the trailers. Okay, let's talk about Sinners. Let's talk about Sinners. Of course, Ryan Coogler's latest horror movie, doing buku in the theaters. It is now currently playing on HBO Max if you are interested in watching it. But I think one thing that a lot of people have gravitated to when it comes to the stories behind Sinners was, man, this looks like Blade, but Ryan Coogler just made it for WB, right? And of course, there's good reason to believe that. I mean, you had Delroy Lindo in there, that was supposed to be in Blade, and he ended up playing, in this movie, in Sinners. Ruth Carter, the famous costume designer, she was working on Blade. She moved over to Sinners. So there's a lot of potential crossover where that is something that that people were thinking about, like, hey, this has got to coexist, right? Maybe, kind of, sort of. So it looks like we actually have a little evidence. It's not really evidence per se, but we actually have there it is. We actually have a little more evidence about why this felt so similar, and maybe there was more of a crossover than we thought. Now, this is from one of the producers of Sinners. In an interview, he said costume designer Ruth Carter was working on the Blade movie that ended up not shooting. At one point, that movie was going to deal with, and she's talked about this before, but at one point, that film was going to deal with the past around the same era as Sinners. She happened to have a warehouse full of period appropriate clothes. And it was like, yo, we got to shoot this movie like tomorrow. And Marvel was so generous. They were generous enough and kind enough to let us basically purchase it at price. And it says here a lot of the background actors wore the clothes intended for Blade, while the stars, they all wore original costumes. You know, I've said this before and I've said it again, but I feel like we just keep getting gaslit. We keep getting gaslit in terms of what coulda, shoulda, woulda happened with Blade. I mean, first we heard of all these actors that was going to be in it. Then we heard about, you know, Bo DeMayo was writing a script. Bo DeMayo from X-Men 97, who gave us the best X-Men anything we've ever had. And they fired him off of that. Then we hear that the Blade director, Chad Stahelski, he pitched Marvel to do this, to do a Blade movie, and they said, nah, we good. Then we heard that the original Blade writer, David Goyer, came up, called Marvel, was like, hey, y'all need some help? Y'all good? Marvel was like, we good. You are? Where's the Blade movie? How are you good? It ain't no Blade movie. Your own star, Mahershala Ali, said, don't call me, call Marvel. It's above me now. Yikes. Kevin Feige's talking about, oh, we've cracked it. We figured it out. We was waiting on that magic thing. What? So it does kind of put a little salt in the Blade wound, knowing that the people on Sinners, which clearly proved to be a successful film, they're wearing the, I don't know, the ancestral energy that could have came with Blade. Like, just whatever Sinners was doing, y'all could have had a piece of that. I know it's just costumes, but dang it, I got that feeling y'all could have had a piece of that. But you're playing. You're playing. Anyway, y'all let me know, what do you think about this news, about the whole costumes and stuff from Sinners being used in it all came from Blade. I mean, Marvel gave that up too. They say they was, oh, you want this? We don't need it. Here you go. Go ahead. Oh, you want to buy? We're not even gonna charge y'all. Just pay the regular price. What do we need this for? Blade, period piece? So got laugh with that. What? I'm tired. I'm tired. Anyway, y'all let me know. How do you feel about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. All right. Jay, what you got? They're trying to make an emasculated Blade movie. That's the only reason why the production has been halted. Delroy's comments, let me know. Maybe. I don't know which comments you're referring to specifically. But we do know that there were some iterations of previous scripts where it felt like and sounded like it wasn't even going to be Blade's movie. It was going to focus on Blade's daughter and all this other stuff. The only thing that we can take away from that is that so far they've already brought in other people that have changed that script up. So we don't know if that's the same script. We don't know if Delroy Lindo has seen the new revised script either. So I mean, all we can do is speculate. I'm not saying that the signs are great. I'm not saying that at all. But if you listen to Marvel, they believe that they've got it. They believe that they've done it. They got the same writer from what was that? Blue Eye Samurai. You know, then they got Eric Pearson, who did Thor Ragnarok. They got them back to write a script. Supposedly they love it. I don't know. Anthony keeps saying Blade is going to be canceled. Yeah, that seems to be a popular thing to say. And here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if it would, but I would be very disappointed in Marvel for dropping the ball on something that has that much potential. Because ain't no way you finna sit here and tell me, hey, let's move forward with Thor 5, but not Blade. Get the hell up out my face with that. Like, I'm ready to stop on Thor. Like, I told y'all, Thor has done nothing but failed up for years. He got lucky with Thor Ragnarok, but he's been failing up, and I don't see how he still justifies a 5th potential movie. I don't see it. But anyway, I digress. Kit, what you got? Marvel doesn't want to do Blade. That's the problem. Side note, I don't want Mahershala to be Blade. Ma'am, they need a young Blade. First of all, he was young. Back in 2019, he was young enough, you know? And to be honest, like, I don't mind Mahershala because he still looks able to do these parts for this role. So I wouldn't mind if he still played. I mean, Wesley... No, I don't think Wesley should be the next Blade again, but he did fine for however old he is, 60 plus years old, I want to say. So it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Again, actions seem to speak louder than words, right? Marvel says that they're excited about Blade. They say that they want to keep going with Blade, but your actions are not lining up with that. Like, we're not seeing anything. And I've told y'all, Marvel doesn't have to do much. Nobody said that you have to make a full movie with Blade right here, right now. I understand movies take a minute to make. A lot of movies go through production hell. That's not a secret. That's not new. But if you really were interested, all you have to do is throw Blade in as a cameo anywhere. And I'm sorry, Eternals does not count. A post-credit scene with a voiceover, that don't count. So Blade technically is in the MCU, but I'm just saying you could throw him in somewhere. Yes, you're going to have to pay a little change, but you should look at that as a cost of business from last time, from announcing something you weren't ready to actually make. You should have paid that price. Pay that man Mahershala Ali. Hey man, we need you to show up in Avengers Secret Wars. We need you to just show up. We're going to tease Midnight Suns, and then you're going to have your own Blade movie. Just give us something. Anything. Y'all making it hard to defend. Let's see. ILL, there's a video of David Goyer, the original writer, talking about how much he couldn't understand why it was been complicated for them to make Blade. Yes, we've actually talked about that for 2 weeks now. We talked about last week where he talked about how he had his agent call Marvel, and Marvel was like, no, we're good. And then yes, the week before that, he definitely talked about how he just didn't understand. Like, it's not that difficult. And I think most people would agree. You don't need a lot to make this work. You really don't. But yeah, definitely on that. Thank you so much. Puma, Marvel doesn't want black characters to be shown in a positive way after the success of Black Panther and Civil War. So again, I think it's hard for you to make those type of comments, not you personally, but what do you say about Sam Jackson in Secret Invasion? Yes, the series wasn't bad, but it's not like Marvel was like, oh no, let's hold back the black actors. What do you say about Anthony Mackie, who literally is the lead in this movie? Again, the movie is not great, but it's hard to make that argument. You also have Yahya Abdul-Mateen, who's going to be Wonder Man. How can you make that argument and say Marvel doesn't want this when they're literally putting black men in front of the screen? I'm just saying, like, y'all can't have it both ways. You can absolutely say, hey, Marvel, y'all got a problem with Black Panther. Hey, Marvel, y'all got a problem with Blade. But you cannot sit here and say that they have problems with black characters when we just got Ironheart, we just got Captain America, we just got Secret Invasion, we got black characters. DC, where you at, by the way? Sony, where y'all at, by the way? Where are y'all at? So again, y'all keep trying to harp on that narrative. And again, I'm not disagreeing that there are problems with Marvel and black characters, but y'all cannot have these blanket type of excuses saying, hey, y'all don't like black folks. Meanwhile, they're actually giving us black characters. Can they be better? Absolutely. Say that. Just say that they can be better. I agree with that. But like, I don't think it matches to keep pushing that narrative. We should just criticize how they're being treated. I agree with that. Like, they played Riri Williams bogus by barely marketing Ironheart, but they still put it out there. They could have canceled it, you know. But anyway, I just don't want. I want our critiques for studios, for characters. I want them to be accurate. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying anybody's perfect. Y'all know I don't think Marvel's perfect at all. But I do want us to be fair in our criticisms as well. Let's see, Anthony. Part of the problem is that they are accustomed to movies making $1 billion or close to it, and execs don't believe Blade will come close. I mean, again, I don't know how you know that. I don't know how we would know that. If there are reports or something out there that give us that indication, I would go with that. Otherwise, that's just speculation, right? Because in my opinion, I think it could be $1 billion. Maybe they think, maybe they're still believing in the black myth of black don't sell. That's possible. It's definitely possible, but I need a little bit more to believe that. I need a little bit more. JN, what you got? Stephen Caple Jr. to write, direct Blade remake. I think if he were to do that, you would get an average Blade movie. I don't think he's a terrible director. I just don't know if he will give you the full potential of what you would hope for from a Blade movie. So I would just say that he would not be top of my list at all. He would give you a competent movie, but I also think he would give you a forgettable movie. I mean, based off of like what I've seen him do with Transformers or even with Creed, I don't hear anybody talk about his movies like that. Like, they're just like, it was all right. It was fine. And that's it. So I wouldn't want to put that on Blade. If I get somebody on Blade, I need them to be like, yo, we're about to do some magic here. So, Quiet One, what you got? Marvel's track record speaks volumes with lackluster to take a chance with more black stories in the MCU. No marketing for Ironheart. Yep. Not recasting T'Challa, Blade in limbo, canceling Armor Wars. Sure. That's fair. That's fair. No argument. I literally said a lot of that already. Not a problem with that. But I would just say, like, how, what are we comparing this to? Or are we comparing this to anything? Because we're saying, like, it's lackluster to take chances with more compared to what? Who's giving us more black stories? Sony is definitely not. DC is not. Like, more of what? How much more is more? Because right now we've been getting zero from the competition. And Marvel's at least giving us 4 or 5, give or take, TV and movies. How much more do we want? But like I said, those are valid in terms of critiques. But what's the opposite with that too? Because to me, I'm just like, yo, I am down for criticizing when they drop the ball. But then when I step away from Marvel and I look at the landscape, I'm like, damn, ain't nobody doing nothing else. No one is doing anything else for black stories in this genre. Maybe a shout out to Watchmen. Watchmen kind of sort of did do something, but I don't know if we want to consider Watchmen DC. Maybe, So, it's sad. I think that we're in this predicament. it's sad that Marvel, who and this is just a fact in the comic book genre, they are doing the most with Black stories. It just sucks that they're not doing great with it. That's the part that sucks. And I was talking about live action, but yeah, shout out to the Spider-Verse because they have definitely been doing great with that. Yes, it's definitely a start. So I do want to give credit to that. That is true as well. Puma, keyword positive, no strong fathers or roles. Maybe. I mean, I feel like honestly that's more of an issue with Disney overall, not just Marvel, but Disney. Everybody got daddy issues. Everybody got, the dad is here, but then they gone, or the mom that, like, sure. I mean, that's fine. Like, I'm not gonna die on that hill. I would love to see more positive Black fathers and black male. Like, I would love to see more of that, but all right. Mike, what you got? Positively Black or not, a billion speaks to anyone. It does. Yeah. I mean, money talks, but to be fair, bias sometimes talks louder, because sometimes people will see a billion and in their mind they'll be like, fluke. They'll be like, fluke. You know what I'm saying? So, it all depends. And usually it depends on these investors, whoever's in charge of, putting the money behind and making these movies. All right, man, nice little side detour there. All right, let's go to a DC update. Let's talk about DC. All right. So here's something I want to mention, because as I've said before, and we were just talking about this in the last topic, DC ain't really been doing the most. I mean, they're still getting started with James Gunn, but their Black representation has been kind of lacking, right? Now, they will sprinkle in Black characters. Right now, we got Mr. Terrific showing up. Amanda Waller is going to have a TV series. And then you got, Aaron Pierre in Lanterns as a co-star in a TV series. But when it comes to movies, nothing. What do we have? The last DC movie with the lead, what was it? Catwoman? Steel? Was that? I mean, unless I don't know if The Rock and Black Adam wanted to consider him as Black, as a character. Because I want to say they wanted to say, oh, no, he's Middle Eastern. He's blah, 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 blah. Like he's just blah, 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 like that's his ethnicity, right? Racially ambiguous. So, again, the struggle is really out there for DC and, other studios when it comes to Black representation. But I want to give a moment here, and let me bring this up, because there are times, and I've told y'all this before, I don't get all the press invites and stuff like that, and that, it is what it is. But what I do appreciate is when one of us gets that. And can I add this? There we go. All right. When one of us gets up there and asks the tough questions, right? We ask the questions that need to be asked. And I want to give a shout out to the homegirl, Sharonda Williams. She is aka Pay or Wait. She is on my favorite channel list, so y'all can go ahead and follow her. She does phenomenal interviews. What I love about her is that she's not afraid to ask the questions that I would say Black audiences need to hear. And what I personally love is she asked the questions that if I was there, I would have asked them questions, right? She was the one that asked Kevin Feige what's going on with Blade, right? So I appreciate the work that she puts into it. I appreciate the fact that she also asked another question that I think many of us in here have also been wondering: Like, what the hell is up with Static Shock? So, out of all the interviewers that were up there, you know, talking about Superman and hey, James Gunn, we love you and Superman and all that good stuff, she asked the real questions. So, we got our little Static Shock update from James Gunn, brought to you by Pay or Wait. Let's hear.
I do want to know, like, bringing more characters to the DCU. Have you ever thought about bringing, like, Nubia or Vixen? Like, because I really need that Nubia storyline, James. I need it.
Okay, I know. Well, I'm very aware of Nubia, and yes, we are very much talking about that, and we need to have, you know, I want to have all sorts of people represented in DCU, and yeah, you might be happy in the not too distant future.
That just makes my heart smile, okay?
Oh.
And did you have any more updates on Static Shock? That's another fan favorite of mine.
Yeah, no updates on Static Shock. That's there's a whole bunch of complexities behind that character right now. But so I don't have as good news for you on Static Shock.
It's okay, but you gave me good news, okay? we gonna get a Billiken one day, and then we're gonna make people be known to Nubia, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. So, not really an update. Kind of sort of an update, you know. Now, for those of you that are wondering, James Gunn didn't go into this. Now, I would have dug a little bit more into this, but I'm not, you know, mad at her because she was probably on a time crunch. More than likely, it has to do with those complexities. Probably have to do with the character rights. Because Static Shock, if I'm not mistaken, was made by Milestone Media, and I think they actually have the rights to it. I don't know if the McDuffie family have a say in this or not, but it's absolutely a character rights legal issue. Like DC does not own Milestone Media. They can't just bring in Static like that and put them on. Now if I'm not mistaken, they are in charge of like the publishing or the distribution. Like if an animated show were made with Static Shock, like they're in charge of that. But I don't, and I could be wrong, but they can't just sit here and be like, oh, let's make a Static Shock movie out of nowhere. So, you know, more than likely we're talking about a character rights issue. We've seen this with Marvel, you know, how they couldn't use X-Men when Fox owned it and stuff like that. And yeah, that's definitely going to be a hurdle some way, somehow. And I don't know how they get around that. However, just going into what James Gunn actually said, he did say that, oh, I would like to see everybody represented, right? My concern is, and this is where I've always wanted to ask James Gunn a more specific, no wiggle room question, is when could you have a leading black character have a solo movie? In other words, don't talk to me about, oh, I got a black character and they're a co-star with another actor. No. Or, oh, I got a Mr. Terrific, but it's an ensemble movie. No. I'm talking about, when are you going to take a black character and give them the same energy? Maybe not as Superman, maybe not as Batman. I get that. But the same energy that you given to Supergirl. Supergirl ain't no main character like that, but she's getting a whole solo movie. I want to know when we're going to get a black character that can get that kind of energy and that kind of story and that level of representation. Not a TV show, not a co-star, not an ensemble, actual chocolatey, authentically black story as a film. That's what I want to know, when we can get that. So we'll see. My guess is that, again, he's probably just going to sprinkle them around and say like, hey, I got you some representation. You ain't see Nubia in the background of Wonder Woman? You ain't see her? She over there. She's over there. Yeah. Oh, Vixen. Man, come on, Vixen. You remember Vixen in that Justice League movie, and she was in there for 20 seconds? You don't remember her? She's right there. You know, representation. I don't want that. I don't want that. We want, when we talk about representation, we talking about like, nah, this their movie, this their story. We about to make it hot. That's what I want to talk about. That's what I want to see. But anyway, and yes, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle. Now, that wasn't under James Gunn, but that's what I'm talking about. Like Blue Beetle, yes, you got that Hispanic, centered story on the character. Give us that. That's the level of representation I'm talking about. Ain't no white savior in there. Ain't no, compromise ensemble. No. It's his story. So that's what I want to see. Anyway, y'all let me know. What do you think about the Static Shock update? Not really the greatest, but it is what it is. What do you think about the potential of representation being expanded in the DCU? Do you have confidence in it? Do you think it'll happen? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Oh man, talented one. Thank you so much. Stopping through for a quick donation. We'll catch the replay. We'll be interested in this Mephisto theory. I can't wait to share it. It was something, of course, the moment the show came out, I was just like, ooh, I got ideas. So yeah, I'll throw that out there for you. JN, I appreciate the work you guys put in. Salute. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And yeah, go make sure y'all go show Sharonda some love too. And pay her way on her YouTube. Tell her E-Man sent y'all. Tell her E-Man sent y'all. She probably already know I did, but tell her E-Man sent us, and we gonna support you because listen, if it's not me making those, one of us got to do it, right? And that's the thing. I'm not even coming from no hatred, no jealousy. I care about these things just making their way through. If I can't ask Kevin Feige about Blade, I'm happy if Sharonda does it. I'm happy if Brandon from Just My Reviews does it. I'm happy if Jamal from Black Tree TV does. I'm fine with that. As long as we get what we need and what we want, that's what I'm cool with. So give her a shout out when y'all got some time as well. Let's see. Shogun, what you got? I wonder if they'll stick black characters in as co-stars first to see how they're received, then give them a solo movie like MCU did with Black Panther. Would not be surprised. I think you're already getting that with Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific is kind of sort of being highlighted just a little bit here. And the latest rumor, I believe, was that you would see an ensemble movie of Mr. Terrific and the Terrifics. So to me, I'm just kind of like, I'm happy for the actor, Eddie Gathecki. I'm happy that he's, Mr. Terrific, smart black man is, like one of the top minds in the universe is getting showcased. I like that. But like I said, I'm more interested in don't water it down. Don't water the representation down. Blue Beetle wasn't, watered down. Supergirl, I'm sure, is not going to be watered down. Give us full, unadulterated, just cultural perspective. And I think that will work. I think people respond to that. When you look at Into the Spider-Verse, even though they do try to throw Peter Parker in there, to weigh it down, and Gwen Stacy, to weigh it down, I still think they do a pretty good job of making sure that it's still Miles' story. So we'll see. We'll see how they go. Mike, what you got? I don't think they understand the significance of a Static Shock at this point. Maybe, this would be something I would love to ask James Gunn more directly. In a follow-up, I'd be like, look, what do you think about this character? Like just something just to dig a little deeper. Because yeah, I get the business side of it, but and maybe it's time to ask those uncomfortable questions. Do you think black characters can be as successful? Like, just ask that straight up. And which ones? Like which ones will make you $1 billion? Do you think? Just be straight up with it. So I don't know. I don't know if they get it either. I think part of my thought process is a lot of this stuff could just be on their blind side. Like they just don't think about it because they don't relate to it. and it's not in their lane, right? So maybe. All right. Oh boy. Let's talk about y'all movie. Fast and Furious. What number are we on now? 10, 12, 15, whatever we on. We are approaching the finale of Fast and Furious. And the movies have not been doing all that great, right? Ever since Fast 7, maybe 8, it's been downhill from there. I mean, the pandemic hit it, yeah, but even after that, 10 and 9 were just not good. They were not good movies. They have relied solely on the stunts and star power, and none of that has been working out in their favor. But yet, Vin Diesel, because this is his baby, is determined to make sure that this is going to be it. So, and who knows? Of course, they might do some spin-offs and stuff like that. So, originally, I was going to pull up this article. And in the article, I was going to sit here and talk to y'all, read the quotes and stuff. But I figured it's probably better to play this as a video because I got the clip. And I'm going to I just want y'all to see this.
Studio said to
Yes. This is Vin Diesel. I don't know what he's prepping for. But I don't think it's for anything fast or furious. I've heard people online say a lot of things. I've heard fast food and furious. I've heard fat and furious. I'm just going to say this. You in the off season, and I get it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can let yourself go a little bit. I get that. But sir, you still working. You still got a movie coming up. You don't need to. You know what? Listen, they have Ozempic. They got all them little things out there. He could probably hire a personal trainer. I remember he was looking a little suspect before the last movie, and he was able to kind of sort of slim down just enough. What kind of car did he be driving? I'm just wondering, are they going to have to CGI him into the cars now? Like, is he going to be like... And listen, like, your boy got some, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got no, etched out Drake 6-pack. I'm not there. I'm saying, sir, what's happening? Why? What happened? And I really do say that from a place of concern because this man's blowing up. And I don't mean figuratively. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to business. I don't want to fat shame. Like I said, I'm part of the community. I'm part of the big back community. So, I ain't even trying to. I just didn't know we was welcoming new members that soon. That's all. I didn't know we was doing that. So let's kind of go through what he had to say. And because he's talking about the actual franchise. Let's go.
studio said to me.
He's talking about Universal Studios, I believe. They contacted him.
Studio said to me, Vin, can we please have the finale of Fast and Furious, April 2027. I said under 3 conditions. Under 3 conditions. Because I've been listening to my fan base. I have been listening to all of you who have been asking for 3 things.
Hold up. What did y'all ask this man? Did y'all do this? Let me find out. Y'all was at this. I don't even know what this is. Was this even broadcast? Who are these people? Are there even people there, or is this just studio? Like, is it just audio? Like, who? Let me find out when y'all gave this man. Okay.
The first is to bring the franchise back to LA.
Okay. Y'all asked for that? LA? Like, of all the things that were bad with this whole franchise, coming back to LA is what y'all needed to do? Who are these fans? Who are y'all? Listen, I'm not gonna shame y'all. Just show yourself. Just show yourself. Because if y'all think all they gotta do is just go back to LA and that's gonna win the franchise back, that's gonna make them the money. Okay. He said that was 1 of 3. All right, what else you got?
Y'all can do better than that. Fast and Furious is coming back to LA.
Who is hyping him up?
The second thing
Okay.
was to return to the car culture, to the street racing. Okay. You know what? I'm going to give credit where it's due because I've been saying that for years. I have been saying that for years on years that the best thing about the Fast and Furious franchise used to be the first 2 movies when it was all about racing culture, right? That was absolutely the best aspect of it because I don't know about y'all. I love watching movies that teach me new things about different cultures, subcultures, or ideologies or whatever, right? Let this be my introduction into whatever, right? Like if it teaches me something, I'm cool with that. And I remember watching Fast and Furious for the first time and I was like, yo, I didn't even know that racing had a culture like that. When I used to think about racing, I just thought about NASCAR or something. I didn't know drag racing on the streets was a thing. But if you tell me that and you bring me into that world, I'm interested. That's why I really love the first Fast and Furious movie. And then I like the second one as well, right? And when they started doing all the extra stuff, I mean, even Tokyo Drift, even though Tokyo Drift is not very good, I respected the fact that they showed us a new way with the drifting and stuff. I was like, I didn't know cars could drift on purpose. I liked that. I respected that. But yeah, and here's the other problem. We've covered this extensively. We've covered almost every Fast and Furious update. I know for a fact we covered when Fast 10 came out and Vin Diesel also came out and said, we're bringing it back to the streets. We're going back to racing culture. And you know what that equated to? It equated to 5 to 10 minutes in that whole movie of doing a random race with Jason Momoa that didn't nobody care about. That was it. So what I get the feeling about at this point is, oh, y'all gonna visit LA. Don't sound like you gonna stay in LA. You're gonna be like, hey, look at that. Y'all see that Hollywood sign? All right, vroom, off to time travel. And the street culture, like, what? What y'all finna do? You not bring, what are y'all gonna do? First of all, you took Ludacris, who was supposed to just kind of be like this nice little techie with it. Y'all done turned him into the world's greatest hacker. And then you brought another hacker with Natalie Emanuel. Like, y'all just be doing stuff. Anyway, if they go back to street culture and racing culture, maybe. But at this point, I also don't know, how do you go from Jason Momoa's character damn near blowing you all the way up off a bridge or whatever, I don't know, however it ended. How does this go back to street racing? Like, I don't believe anything he's saying. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. All right, let's go to the third thing here because this is already all over the place. Oh, he's so hyped. He's so hyped.
Oh, this is good. You want to know what the third thing was?
Yes.
Does anybody want to know what the third thing was?
Yes.
The third thing. The third thing was reuniting Dom and Brian O'Connor. That is what you're going to get in the finale. Love you.
Y'all asked for that? Are you kidding me? For those who don't know, Brian Connor, who he's talking about, is Paul Walker's character. Paul Walker tragically passed away. And in my opinion, they probably did one of the best tributes to an actor who has passed away in an ongoing franchise. And I want to say that was Fast 7. They had his brother kind of step in, do a little CGI work, didn't say nothing. And, you know, they had the nice little Wiz Khalifa song playing and all that. And it was cool. Like, I think there was mad respect for how they handled that. And I mean, even that has been one of those conversations of like, hey, Marvel, no, you don't have to double down on a real life person, you know, death. You can make it kind of work fictionally, work around it. I mean, even in the more recent movie, there was just like, oh yeah, Brian is watching the kids, you know, at his house. He can't come right now. That's fine. Like, we can suspend the belief. But you trying to bring him back for what? And who asked for this? Which one of y'all asked for this? Why y'all putting this in this man's head? Who is he listening to? Who does Vin Diesel keep listening to? Where are these people? Because he keep talking about, I listen to the fans. Who? Where? Is this some subreddit group or something? Where are these people? I don't know. I honestly, I know based off of what he said, I truly believe that Vin Diesel has a lot of love for Paul Walker and his family. I do believe that. I do not doubt that. I do believe that Vin Diesel sometimes will go above and beyond and go overboard with a lot of the things that he does. We've seen this with his interactions with The Rock, for example. He will say things, he'll post things that just kind of, it's like, man, you're doing too much. And I do believe out of all those things to do in the last finale of Fast and Furious, you're doing too much. I mean, sir, physically, you've been doing too much. Physically. We could start the conversation right there. But I do think that they should leave that alone. Now, if you want to mention Brian, if you want to mention him, I think that's fine, because at the very least, we know in the franchise he is still alive. But I would hope that they don't go out their way to undoing the perfect ending that they had in Fast 7. But anyway, you guys let me know, what do you think about these 3 things that apparently y'all asked for this? I don't know why, but y'all, I don't know, like, this is what y'all wanted for y'all movie? Okay. Y'all let me know. Is this what the people want? I'm sorry. Is this what the family wants? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. ILL, Furious Snacks Overheat Drive. Why are y'all like this? Why y'all like this? Come on now. Why y'all doing this? Oh, thank you. Kit, thank you so much, Kit, coming through. We would have to remember the franchise exists to make suggestions. Ain't nobody thinking about Fast and Furious. I mean, like I was sleeping very well. Like I was sleeping very well, not thinking 2 things about Fast and Furious at all. I was actually kind of happy not thinking about it once this actually came up. And I was like, dang, man, life was pretty good without Fast and Furious. You're not wrong. You are not wrong at all. DJ, what you got? I never cared for the Fast and Fluffiest. I never even cared for Hobbs and Slobs. Come on, man. If I was The Rock, I'd leave that franchise to save his career. Not a fan, never was, don't care. So, funny thing, I would say that based off of The Rock's last couple movies, now I know he's doing some A24 stuff and he's trying to get into more serious stuff. I would say that like The Rock probably was one of the best things to happen to the Fast franchise. And the Fast franchise is probably one of the best things to happen for The Rock. Like, if anything, like he's made them more money by just being in it. And because of his presence there, it's made him a bigger star too. And he even got the Hobbs and Shaw movie spinoff. So, and that was against, the other people's wishes. So I think they do kind of need like each other in a weird way. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel like that. Alejandro, Vin had a lot of family dinners and no one showed up. Yikes. Come on, man. Y'all gotta chill. Y'all have got to chill. Why are y'all doing this to this man? Thank you. ILL, they made this back to LA promise so many times. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but even if they made it in the past, who cares? Like, I've never heard of a setting saving a franchise. I've never heard that. I've never heard, oh man, if only they brought it back to ATL, this would be great. Oh man, if only they brought it back to planet Earth, this would be great. Like, what are we talking about? How is LA going to save anything? All right, we'll see. Right, what you got? Have you started watching Andor season 2 yet? No. No. Can I recover from season 1? It took me almost a year and a half to watch season 1. I will get there. I highly doubt I'm gonna watch it right now because I am on break. And yeah, I got movies I need to watch. I'm watching Superman this week. Yeah, probably no time soon. I'm gonna get there though. I'm going to get there. I promise that. I will keep my word with that. Quiet one. It feels like Vin Diesel is listening to the same guys doing the casting for Street Fighter. Fandom disconnect. Yeah, I don't know who these people are, but whoever they are, they not your friends. And they definitely not your family either. They just not. You need to stop. Whew, man. Anthony, thank you so much. I get it that this franchise started with Dom and Brian, but it would be weird to end without the two. Maybe recast. I mean, if you want to recast, I guess. I just don't think it's necessary, right? Like, I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised if they did something like, hey, we just gonna have a phone call with Brian and I catch up with him that way.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you could still accomplish the same thing. And I think that most people going into this movie franchise, we already understand. We're not dumb. I don't think anyone is going to sit here and say, hey, why is Dom talking to Brian on a phone, or why is he on a Zoom call with him and we can't see the screen? What's going on? Like, I'm pretty sure most people will be like, yeah, we remember, the actor passed away. Like, they're doing too much, in my opinion. It's too much. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. And we'll go from there. What else do we need to do? Oh, okay. Well, I guess I need to do this. Let me give you guys my Jurassic World Rebirth review. So, in case you did not know, yes, we do have another Jurassic World Rebirth. It is currently in theaters as I'm recording this now. And we have this movie starring Scarlett Johansson. It also stars Mahershala Ali. And I can give you guys a quick synopsis or intro on what this is all about. So 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion, an expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Yada, yada, yada. Okay, basically, in other words, a team has to go into the jungle with a bunch of dinosaurs to get some samples from those dinosaurs so that way they can make a medical achievement. Whatever. All right, so let's start off with what was good in this movie. So first and foremost, I think the performances were pretty solid from the cast. Mahershala Ali, fantastic. This guy can do his acting in his sleep at this point. Definitely, did exactly what needed to be done, and I think that it worked for the most part. I enjoyed his character. I liked what he brought to the table. And overall, I thought he also had really good chemistry, that being with his co-star. Well, I guess the real movie star is Scarlett Johansson. And I thought she did a wonderful job as well. She definitely handled her action scenes very effectively. I do like the fact that, her character felt a little more multi-dimensional. You would see moments where she's, she can joke around. You would see moments where she would tighten up and we gotta get up out of here. And you would even see emotional moments. So it seemed like you really got a full meal of her ability to act in this. And I enjoyed it. I liked how her and Mahershala got along. I thought they did a very good job together. So overall, I would say the performances were pretty good. I like the cinematography in the film. You would get some nice looking shots here, especially when it came to, obviously dealing with the dinosaurs and stuff. I thought they did a good job with that. And it definitely helped make a lot of certain scenes look and feel like you could feel the size. You could feel the weight of the dinosaurs. You could see the magnitude. You could see the dimensions and all that. So I thought they did a really good job with that. And that ended up working out pretty well. Now we do move on to what you probably expect from a Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World movie. Oh, that's not it. That's not it either. That's Megan. Sorry. And that is a lot of the suspense. Specifically this scene. I mean, you had some scenes with the dinosaurs that were absolutely suspenseful. You have some moments where you're like, oh snaps, this is crazy, this is wild. I wouldn't want to be in that position. And I thought that they did a pretty good job of creating those suspenseful moments and making you really feel the impact and the terror of, you got this crazy dinosaur that's huge and dangerous right there in my face or right behind me. I think they did a pretty good job with that. Now, that is all I have for the good. Now, let's talk about the bad. I would say that, and this is probably not the best image, but the dinosaurs, I mean, this is just the T-Rex, but the dinosaurs, they're supposed to look like these weird concoctions, these weird mix-ups, because of all the scientific experiments and stuff. To be honest, a lot of those did not feel all that new and all that different. It did not feel as though you were giving me something drastically weird or intriguing or captivating that was going to make me be like, dang, that's wild. Showing me another variation of a dinosaur that looks similar to a dinosaur I've already seen. Sorry, that's not weird enough. It's not crazy enough. I'm good on that. It's almost like saying, or think of it like when you hear about weird genetic mutations, it's not like you're going to see a T-Rex with wings, right? You're not getting something like that. Yes, you will have the one big crazy dinosaur with like a big old bone head or whatever, but it's kind of like, okay, no, it just looks weird. It doesn't, and yeah, it's obviously scary, but this is what it was. Like, you might as well give me the old school dinosaurs if that's the case, but give me them velociraptors again. Give me the little things with the thing, like give me those again, So I was not very impressed with the variety and the styles of some of the dinosaurs. They did not seem all that scary. I mean, a dinosaur by itself is scary, but I don't think it was enough to make this feel fresh or new. Then you had some of the characters doing what I believe were a lot of dumb things. You had a lot of characters in this movie when it comes to the kids, when it comes to the parents. They were just doing stupid decisions that clearly were only there to make the plot move forward. And I did not like it. I thought it was really stupid. I mean, who goes boating in a world where dinosaurs exist? Because keep in mind, if you've watched Jurassic World Dominion, dinosaurs are now a part of this world. It's not just at the park. They're in New York City. They're in Chicago. They're dinosaurs are here. They've been there for 5 years. Why are you going outside? Dinosaurs exist in your world. Why are you going anywhere at all? Why are you going in the water when you know something like this exists? Just why? What, like, there? And you gonna bring your kids? Your kids? Hey guys, we're not going to Disney World. We're going to dinosaur-infested water. Get ready for summer. What are we talking about? It's stupid. It's stupid. And the absolute worst thing about this movie, it's definitely the writing, but it's how ridiculously predictable everything is. Every single thing was predictable. I watched this movie in the first 5 minutes and I was like, oh, you're going to die. You're going to die. You're going to be the bad person. You're going to live. You'll live. Sorry. You're comic relief. You're not going to die because you're too stupid to die. Let's see. Oh, that little cute thing, that's going to live. That's probably going to be merchandise later. Beyond, like, there's not a single thing that was surprising or, I don't know, just unpredictable. It's incredibly predictable. I think the bigger issue I had was the fact that because of the predictability, it felt like there were no stakes involved with this movie. You're not going to see characters that should die actually die. Because if we're being honest, anybody, I don't care how Marine qualified, Navy SEAL, whatever, anybody walking into a jungle that has prehistoric life in there, you should die in 3 minutes. You should die from the prehistoric snake that exists. You should die from the velociraptors that have been hunting you. You should die from the pterodactyl that's going to scoop you up from the sky in 2 seconds.
You should die from the big old mosquito that's bigger than the size of your head. You should die immediately. But this movie has no stakes. There's no drama. It's whatever. It is whatever. Anyway, let me go into my verdict. Look, when it comes to Jurassic World, hold on, let me get something here. Yeah, I'll do this. All right. So when it comes to Jurassic World Rebirth, it's a formulaic rehash of the previous movies that offers only more of the same. The slight modifications that are here and there, they're not impressive, they're not compelling. It's just the same old all over again, just with different faces, same situations all over again. To say that this was disappointing would be an understatement, because I already didn't have high expectations for this. Yes, there is some action, there is some stuff in there for you to be mildly entertained. I don't think that this is something that is memorable. I don't think that this is something that people are going to or need to be excited about. So when it comes to the rating for Jurassic World Rebirth, I've got to give it a 5 out of 10. I didn't watch the previous Dominion movie, and now I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because I feel like it would have been more of this anyway. I actually think that I'm done with this franchise. I loved the first Jurassic Park movie. I mean, that was just classic, right? I could watch that on repeat. But yeah, this right now, if this is the trend that the franchise wants to keep going down, I'm good. I'm good. So I would say that, listen, if you've watched any Jurassic Park movie, any Jurassic World movie, you've already seen this movie. You've already seen it. You're not missing anything. So, you know, the only thing that would bring me back to this franchise is if they actually decided to take the kitty gloves off and go full horror. If you go full horror, you can make it rated R and you make it more realistic, I think that this would be a whole lot better and more enticing. But right now, I'm good. So listen, this is watchable if you go in with little to no expectations, if you actually liked the previous Jurassic World movies, and if you just don't want to think too deep about anything, you might have a much better time than I did. I don't know, but you all let me know. Is Jurassic World Rebirth something that you plan on watching? If and when you do go see it, come on back to this video and let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. All right. That is my Rebirth review. Done with that. I got some comments. Let me grab these. DJ, no good. The ending of F7 was perfect. Should have ended there. Whole franchise would have been fine if they ended right there. Like it probably would have made us forget some of the other movies that weren't good before it, because they at least would have ended it on such a perfect note. But this is what happens when you're greedy and you just don't know when to stop. So, ILL, what you got? I have fun with this movie. It's third after Lost World for me. Okay. All right. If you like this, I mean, you know, I'm not going to, if that's what you like, that's what you like. ILL, again, thank you so much. I think if this was a sequel to the first Jurassic World film with a few changes, it would have had more high praise. Those Jurassic World sequels ruined the expectations for Rebirth. Would not be, yeah, I don't disagree with that. One of the things that I was just not, that first Lost World, the one with Chris Pratt, the first one with Chris Pratt, I liked it. It was fine. But it was the moment they brought the dinosaurs to America. That's when I was like, y'all lost me. I don't care about dinosaurs in our world. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like with Transformers. I don't care about Transformers here. Show me Transformers over there in Cybertron, you know, in their own habitat. where they're the most dangerous or the most unpredictable. That's where I want to see dinosaurs, and I want to see the crazy situations, humans who have no business being around dinosaurs. I want to see what shenanigans they get into. That's the movie that made Jurassic Park so good. It wasn't because they went to New York and all that. No, it's the formula was right there. But yeah, anyway, I agree with you. I do think the sequels hurt it. It definitely hurt the momentum for me. So, you know, it is what it is. All right, what else do we have? Are we almost done? We have okay, we got two more things. I have a Ironheart finale update, and then we'll get into Mephisto. So while we get into this Ironheart finale, just a heads up, this will contain spoilers. So if you have not watched Ironheart, or if you care about spoilers, now's the time that you should probably leave, probably for my theory too, because I'll be going into spoilers with that. You definitely want to bounce for that, and or cover your ears or something. So no hard feelings if you want to leave, it's all good. But that is your spoiler alert. Ironheart finale update is on right now. All right, so we have, if you're still here, we have talked about Ironheart. We've covered it on the channel. I have covered it with you guys, and you know, there was some good, there was some bad. It's all right, right? It's all right. I don't think it's something that needs to be overhyped. I don't think it's something that needs to be trashed. For me, the ending saved a lot. It definitely redeemed a lot for me. And of course, the ending is definitely something that has the most people talking, right? So we have this interview here with Ryan Coogler and the writer, Shaniqua, or I don't want to mess up her name. It was the co-writer. Why is this blank? Hold on one second. I don't know why this is blank. But we have the writer and executive producer here. What? This is just straight up blank. What is happening? Hello? Okay, give me a second. Sorry. I don't know why this thing just didn't want to show up. Okay, I guess I gotta redo this. All right, we'll just do this live. Just this what happens. Man, all these technical issues. I don't like it. All right. I think first we're going to get into what Ryan Coogler had to say. And his thoughts were more so about what happened with the big reveal. And this is the reveal, obviously, of Sacha Baron Cohen coming in as Mephisto. And Shanaka Hodge. That's it. Thank you. Shanaka Hodge. That was her name. All right. So in regards to the finale, Ryan Coogler says, I love the combination of high and low. He said it's funny. When I first met John Watts in 2016, and he was doing Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man was like basement level, like fighting underneath street level villains. Then by the time No Way Home comes around, he's dealing with Doctor Strange and going through different realities and stuff. And, you know, it's the same deal with Riri and her trajectory, right? So he says, I love the compression that we have in this show. Coogler explains, pointing to the selfie video of Natalie and Riri. Just two kids trying to make a way for themselves and watching Riri get so in over her head, not just the street level, but armor war level, and then eventually encountering a seemingly all-powerful mystical being and realizing that that was where the show was headed the whole time. Okay, so he likes that whole combination of it. And regarding Mephisto, he goes on to say, I just absolutely love that we're not meeting him in WandaVision or Agatha all along. You're meeting him through this stressed out young black genius. When you watch the show, it's like, oh, that was how you were always going to meet him. It wasn't going to be in Loki. That's a trickster. That's how he works. That's where he's going to be, in a pizza shop in Chicago, like where you would absolutely never expect him. I will say,
I do respect that, right? I agree with Coogler in this sense that having Riri Williams, of all people, random pizza shop in Chicago, that's where this powerful being of Mephisto wants to show up. I do like that. It is unexpected. None of us would have predicted that. None of us would have thought about that and all the theories and all the videos. As wild as the Mephisto stuff was, nobody would have guessed that. So I do like that. And I do think that is kind of cool. And he goes on talking about Riri and her significance. And he says, when we first meet her, the government wanted her, Talakon wanted her, MIT don't want her, but she was always wanted. She was always desired by people who knew her potential. That for me just says so much. Now, Hodge, the other co-writer or the other lead writer, says this as well. I could tell the story about process, and you would know how benevolent Kevin Feige is. But I will say that it was a collaborative effort where we all landed on Mephisto together. But there was one of us in the room who led us there, and I'm eternally grateful for him leading us that direction. So from the sounds of it, it sounds as though Kevin Feige could be the main reason why we have Mephisto. It sounds like he was the reason that kind of pushed them into that direction. Now, this is not new. Kevin Feige, yes, he's the head of Marvel, but he does walk into individual projects and he steers the boat just a little bit. He'll be like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? Sometimes he will back off. So Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, he backed off. According to him, according to Ryan, everybody else, he said, hey, Nate Moore, hey, Ryan Coogler, y'all deal with this. Whatever y'all decide to do, I'm with y'all. He empowered them to do stuff, right? For better or worse, Kevin Feige's decision. Oh, we're going to make the Ancient One this white lady instead of, someone of Asian descent. Now, he had to fall on the sword for that because, that was literally whitewashing, but, he had to own that. What else did he come up with? He came up with y'all favorite. I've seen the comments. People do not like this idea, and I understand. The whole anchor beings. He came up with that. The whole thing of Logan being the anchor being of his universe, and if an anchor being dies, then the universe collapses. Kevin Feige came up with that. So, at the end of the day, whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, Kevin Feige got to take the praise or the criticism. But coming up with Mephisto seems like that was his. Now, this comes from one of the producers on the show, and it says, if you look at the publishing, Parker's power is drawn back to Dormammu, who is also a very epic character in the MCU and who would have been very exciting to play. But Mephisto, by the way, that was not their initial idea. That's not how they started. And he says here, but as we developed it, we realized Mephisto was a better thematic fit for what the show is about. So, okay, they talk about that. Yeah, they couldn't unsee Sacha Baron. Yes. Was there anything else? Yeah, they had to hide. They had to hide him under covers and stuff. So this is something else. So they do say here that Sacha Baron Cohen, he had to do a lot of he did different versions of Mephisto. He did that English version. Remember when it was like, oh, well, you got an English accent now? He did all these different versions, but this is what the explanation was from the producer. And it's because Mephisto is a shapeshifter. You never know where Mephisto can be hiding because one of his powers in the comic books is literally changing his form. Introducing him in the MCU is a really powerful tool because it's a key to open many doors. And I do think that is something that we have to keep in mind, that Mephisto will probably be used the way we thought the Skrulls were going to be used. So, if anything, And Marvel, by the way, they work backwards. They don't always, they plan some things in advance, but they don't plan everything. And sometimes what they'll do is they'll go back and they'll be like, oh yeah, by the way, there was this character behind the scenes that you never saw and we never showed you, and they were there all the time. Just look at Quentin Beck, Mysterio. We didn't know he was behind the stage while Tony was giving his lecture to MIT and stuff. We didn't know that because they added that after the fact. So don't be surprised if, as we're watching the MCU, we start to see certain characters that we thought was this person, but it actually was Mephisto the whole time. So, you know, that is probably something they will go back and retrofit to make it work. Now, the last thing here was actually Ryan Coogler. They did ask, like, yo, like, what do you have going next? Like, what's next for Riri? You know, what can we expect? And he had this to say. He says, I don't know jack squat. I don't know. I just did an all-nighter writing the X-Files. I'm here for whatever Shanaka's got coming up for us next, whatever Kevin's got coming up next. You know what I'm saying? I think the audience is going to take that ending, and I can't wait to see those characters again. So I think what that just kind of tells us is, you know, it's indicative of kind of like what I told y'all in my interview with Ryan Coogler. At that time, during Sinners, before Doomsday and Secret Wars were done or even in development like that, he didn't know what they were going to do. And it's not until he does find out, like once he gets the script, once he sees what they're shooting, he's like, oh, okay, this is what y'all doing. All right, cool. Now I can go write my script. Now I can go do my movie about Black Panther because I don't know what y'all about to do over here. Marvel does not always work that way. Marvel will allow creators to work in certain little pockets and silos, and the only people that know what's going on are the producers. The producers who might move around, bounce around, they will have their conversations with Kevin Feige, but they don't want other filmmakers to really, you know, overstep what other projects are being done. So, you know, Ryan Coogler, on the other hand, I mean, while he was making Black Panther, I want to say that's when the Russos were doing Civil War, Infinity War, something like that. So they might work together. They might get little ideas, but it doesn't mean that they know everything until that other project is really done. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting for his thoughts on Ironheart. Y'all let me know. What did you think? What did you think about the finale? Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Shogun, what you got? My thing with Rebirth is of its a rebirth, then rebirth to what? The story didn't expand to anything. I did like the movie though, 6 out of 10. Yeah, I don't know. It really actually felt like the complete opposite of Rebirth. Like, I mean, the whole opposite concept was in application for this movie. So I don't know what they were trying to rebirth. It ain't like somebody's like, hey, let me take these eggs and steal this, like, you know, they tried to do in the first Jurassic Park movie. I don't know. It was just whack. JN, top 20 E-Man rant. I'm crying, bro. What did I rant? Oh, for Fast. Okay. I guess. I don't know, man. Yeah, y'all just get to see me in my rawness, you know. That's all. All right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes while y'all here. So I'm gonna give you guys basically the raw meat and potatoes of this, and then later on I'll chop this up and, you know, make it pretty and stuff. So let's talk about Mephisto. And I get it, you know, everybody has been hyping up Mephisto for a minute, and we've been talking about him and speculating, and YouTube videos have been going crazy over him. And you know, here's the thing. It's not like they were wrong, but they also weren't right. It's just that, like I said before, Marvel sometimes will work backwards. So I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel was like, hey, people are really digging this Mephisto thing. Let's go ahead and play into that. Let's lean a little harder into that, right? So I do think that that's pretty much what's going on as to why Mephisto even exists.
probably wasn't there for real, but I think they just kind of added it in afterwards and they just gonna claim credit. Fine, whatever. So if you haven't seen this already, in the Ironheart finale, we have finally gotten the big reveal of who Mephisto is, played by Barra Cohen. And you know, that big reveal was obviously probably the highlight of the show. At least it was for me. Now we learned one thing, and that many fans were wondering, and that was what Mephisto kind of casually threw out there, and that was like the fact that he has other clients. He has other people out there that he's made deals with. Now, on one hand, the show played this up as kind of like a random joke by mentioning that he's partnered with all these billionaires and, you know, even a Beatle, Ringo Starr, ha ha ha, you know, whatever. This could mean a whole lot much. This could mean a lot more in the MCU. And I'm sure many of you, because y'all do this all the time, and I already know. I know y'all cheated on me with other channels. Y'all probably seen all these other theories out there about who else is working with Mephisto and stuff. I get it. I ain't gonna mention no ideas, but I'm not gonna mention no names, but I will talk about some of the ideas that are already out there. And then I'll share with you one idea that I don't think anyone has talked about. Because you know, I like to be a little different and unique, right? So let's start off with some of the obvious guesses as to who Mephisto's clientele could be. But before we do that, we should also talk about like what do we know about Mephisto that we've learned in this one episode. We know that he's obviously powerful, right? He was able to flick off Riri's armor like with no problem. He was able to make the black family, only the black family, be quiet in the restaurant. Yeah, okay. He even teased that he could freeze the entire city, you know, just casually. And we also saw that he laughed at the concept of even being mistaken as Dormammu. So does that mean that he's more powerful than Dormammu? Does that mean he's lying and maybe he just thinks he is? We don't know. But the fact that he's just like, you know, whatever, he's clearly somebody that's got some powers. Now, the other things that we need to learn, and this is stuff that we'll have to apply as to who his clientele can be. He loves the exceptional. He loves super special people. Okay. He also wants people to realize their wildest ambitions. So he likes those people that have those crazy dreams, those big dreams. He likes that. He likes to help them achieve those goals. And he, according to him, likes to help the unseen and the unheard be seen and heard, right? So, and we also know that he can read minds because we've seen, whether it was Parker, whether it was Riri, that whenever he would ask a question like, what do you want? And they would just think it, he'd be like, aha, that's what it is. So he's stupid powerful, right? He's stupid powerful. So I want us to kind of like apply these things that we know onto the characters or the names that were mentioned. I mean, he talked about Shakespeare, William Shakespeare, Ringo Starr. All right, cool. So let's talk about, and this would be more so speculation, right? This would be the speculation group of people that maybe they work with Mephisto, but I got some doubts, right? I got some doubts. I've heard Killmonger making deals with Mephisto. Personally, I don't believe that, only because even though Killmonger was pretty exceptional to a certain degree, I think that he was already driven by his own rage and knowing who he was as a Wakandan, that he didn't need Mephisto. Yes, he was grieving clearly with his father being killed, but I think he was fine. I think you could write that in there, but I think it'd be a stretch. Who else I've heard? I've heard Kingpin. You know, again, I don't think that's a character that would strike a deal with the devil, so to speak, right? Because he already had that psychotic type of stuff going for him. I think he was already driven enough to do what he needs to do. And plus, I don't think he would have just trusted someone like Mephisto to like help him achieve his, power or whatever. Also talked about Val. I don't know. Val seems kind of like a stretch as well. Just that she seems like she was always kind of charismatic. I don't see that as much. Not saying that these are impossible. I just don't see it. I've heard Wenwu from the 10 Rings. Again, I'm not really seeing that. I still think that the 10 Rings has something to do with Kang the Conqueror, maybe even Doctor Doom. I don't see that as being a Mephisto related thing. We didn't see, for example, the 10 Rings corrupting him. We did see the Hood corrupting Parker. So I don't believe that we have any evidence to believe that Wenwu and the 10 Rings are Mephisto related. Now, I have heard people talk about the Iron Man villains, and I do think that that is interesting, right? So you have people like Killian from Iron Man 3, you got Quentin Beck, you got Obadiah Stane. That makes sense because they seemed like those were all, or Justin Hammer, right? You have these characters that all were very ambitious, and Mephisto likes ambition, but they also, in my opinion, did not feel like they needed him exactly because they were not really exceptional. Now, again, that doesn't mean that they didn't make a deal. They probably did in some way, shape, or form, especially Killian, because my man had a whole glow up. He had that fiery ability and all that stuff. That makes sense. But I think that Mephisto was using them just like he was using Parker, and we'll get into that a little bit later. Anyway, there was another thing I heard somebody else had mentioned, and shout out, I think I heard this from Straw Hat Goofy, so shout out to him. I heard him mention Shuri as being a candidate as one of those possible clients of Mephisto. So I thought that was interesting because we saw that she was obviously stricken by grief, right? After the passing, or the second passing of T'Challa in the MCU. So just like Riri, it would make sense for her to strike a deal with Mephisto to bring back her brother. And let me add one other point of support to that. When Riri asked him who he was, he said that, hey, we have mutual acquaintances. Now, he said that in the plural form. We assumed he was talking about Parker, right? But saying that in plural, who else does Riri and Mephisto know? I think he also might or could have implied Shuri, because that's someone else that would have fit that. And Shuri is exceptional, just like Riri, right? They're both geniuses. Now, few reasons why I don't think it's going to be Shuri at all is because, one, it's too close and too on the nose with what we just got with Riri. You have two black girls that are exceptional. They're both dealing with grief. Like it's too alike, and the MCU tries to be different. So I don't think they'll do it for that reason. And then probably the biggest reason, the passing of Chadwick Boseman's 616 version of T'Challa. It's an extremely sensitive topic for the Marvel execs, Ryan Coogler, etc. So using Mephisto to bring back that same T'Challa, even if it's a different actor, I don't think they will like that. I don't think it will sit well with them. So, and keep in mind, this wouldn't be like bringing a variant. This would be like bringing the same 616 version back. And like I said, Marvel is adamant for whatever reason not to do that. So I don't think Shuri is up. So now here was something that was interesting, and this is probably more of the more obvious clients of him. If you watch She-Hulk, Madison with the Y, but not in the place that you expect or whatever, she said that she was transported to some hellish lava type dimension, and a goat appeared to her, offered her a contract, wanted 6 drops of her blood, and it teleported her conveniently to Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. So I think that that's probably one of the most obvious
candidates of that. But again, I don't think she's exceptional. But I do think that Mephisto might be interested in Wong and using Madison because now they are best friends, right? They sitting there watching Sopranos and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mephisto tries to get his hooks into Wong some way, somehow. I doubt it, but we'll see. And then, of course, the other guest would be Ghost Rider. So Ghost Rider, whether it's Reyes, Johnny Blaze, that is a perfect candidate and probably the most obvious candidate as being a client for Mephisto because Johnny or Jose or who Reyes, they literally are making a deal with the devil, and Mephisto perfectly fits that description. So I could totally see them do that. But here's the thing, that's not interesting, right? That's not interesting. Don't nobody care. We already know that from the comics. So let's talk about more interesting, but yet somewhat obvious candidates. And I would say Spider-Man, right? My comic fans out there, we already know this, right? The new movie for the new Spider-Man 4 film is going to be called Brand New Day. And I think the MCU is going to find a way to use Mephisto to have Peter Parker bring Aunt May back to life. Now, keep in mind, this is something that the MCU might do. I know the MCU is not comic accurate. So for those of y'all that are like, man, that's not how it happened in the comics. It was brand new. It was one more day. I know that. But like I said, the MCU, they like to use the comics as inspiration and remix it and use maybe 20-30% of it and change it all up for the movies. So you're not going to get nothing 100% accuracy, or accurate from the comics in the MCU. That does not happen. Now, let's kind of go off of the checklist. Peter is exceptional, just the way Mephisto likes him. I've also said in my theory videos that I think Peter probably could be the anchor being for the MCU 616 universe. I think that makes sense. But he's also one of those pinnacle characters that deals with grief and loss. And that we already see is a prime target for Mephisto's manipulation. Second, you're not about to throw Aunt May away. Not with Marissa Tomei, like right there. The way Marissa Tomei looks at 60 years old, you're not about to throw that away. No, not at all. Not to mention the incredible opportunity of character development that would happen for Peter if Aunt May actually did come back. That is definitely something. So you got the comic influence, you got the grief, you got the exceptionality of Peter Parker and Marissa Tomei as Aunt May coming back. That seems like a pretty obvious client for Mephisto. Now I got two more. This one's a long shot. I'll admit that. I think that an interesting thing, and I haven't worked this fully out, but maybe you guys can think about this as well. I think it could be Tony Stark. I think Tony Stark could be one potential client for Mephisto, but I don't think it's our Tony Stark. We've already talked about how all the villains potentially could have worked with Mephisto, but I think that they all could have been pawns to get to Tony Stark because none of them were exceptional. Quentin Beck, Killian, they were not exceptional. Tony Stark was exceptional. And again, that's what Mephisto likes. Mephisto was using Parker to get to Riri. He said, I've been looking at you for a long time. I've been watching you for a long time. He didn't care nothing about Parker. If you listen closely in the show, he even said when Parker was like, hey man, you got some more of that magic hood power? You can I get me some more of that? When he was saying that, Mephisto was like, why would I get that to you? And you can't even handle stuff. Okay, you know what? If you can handle and keep your hood, if you can keep it, I'll give you some more power. He knew Parker was not going to be able to stand up to Riri. And Parker couldn't stand up to Riri. And guess what? He lost his hood. Mephisto never cared about Parker. Parker was a means to an end, and Riri was the end. That's what he wanted. And I think it's the same thing that applies for Tony Stark and his villains. So I believe that Mephisto he always wanted Tony Stark. Tony Stark also has the potential to be manipulated. He had grief. He had that paranoia, especially after the first Avengers movie. And, you know, I think that there are multiple points, if we talk about a variant Tony Stark, where maybe Mephisto approaches him after Avengers Endgame, maybe or the first Avengers movie, maybe he appears to him after Infinity War when half of the world is gone and dusted. Maybe, you know, Tony was the most desperate in space. Maybe while he's out there, it's not Captain Marvel that shows up and saves him, but it's Mephisto that shows up and gives him hope and, you know, helps him escape or whatever and reunites him, you know, because he will get his daughter or whatever. He gives him all the stuff that he actually wants. So I could totally see the possibility of Mephisto being the reason why a Tony Stark variant might end up turning into a Doctor Doom. Maybe. So that's one thing that could happen. I don't think it's totally likely, but I think it'd be interesting if they did. So now let me get to the coup de grace. Let me get to the big thing. And this is the theory that I don't think anyone has talked about. This is the character I haven't heard anyone say. But I do believe that while everyone is concerned about Mephisto's past clients, I want to offer you all who I believe is his future client, right? And it's none other than the Hulk. No, I'm not talking about Bruce Banner. I'm talking about the Hulk. Keep in mind, the Hulk and Banner, they're like two separate persons in the same body. We saw that in Thor Ragnarok when Hulk basically threw Banner in a trunk, so to speak, for years. We also know that Banner can be influenced by magic when Scarlet Witch did that, and it also had an effect influencing the Hulk. So we know that that magic, that chaos magic, is a weakness to him. I believe that the Hulk fits the perfect description of a client of Mephisto because he is the one that always wants something. Hulk always wants something, and that is not to feel lonely, or he wants to feel accepted. We've seen that multiple times, right? Now, he has suffered a great deal of grief, the Hulk. One of the few people who actually accepted him, and Banner for that matter, was Natasha, aka the Black Widow. He took her death probably the hardest, and even tried using the Infinity Stones to bring her back. He was that desperate. That tells you a lot about how he felt about her. He doesn't want to be viewed as a monster. She's the only one that didn't care if he was a monster. And I think it's also kind of unlikely, though, that ScarJo is going to come back because of that whole Disney lawsuit thing. So we won't go there. But it does speak to his level of grief and desperation. So I believe that Mephisto could offer something to the Hulk that he's desperately wanted, that he's desperately needed, and that would actually feel fulfilling. And that is a family. Did we not just see Scar and She-Hulk just show up randomly in the show? All of a sudden, he got a son out of nowhere. I think Hulk makes a deal with Mephisto. He gets a family, and in true Mephisto fashion, everything goes wrong. Keep this in mind. We no longer, or we don't have we do not have an Illuminati in the 616 universe that we know of, right? In the comics, it was the Illuminati that shot off Hulk, and all of a sudden something happened. His family dies, and boom, Hulk is big mad. I believe that Mephisto is going to give him a family, and he's going to rip that away from the Hulk. And again, because we don't have the Illuminati in the MCU right now, this will be the way we get World Breaker Hulk. And we get him to go insane in the MCU. Because in the comics, one thing that we also know about Mephisto is that he feeds off of suffering.
He loves it. He will do whatever it takes to make people suffer. So not only would he be feeding off of the Hulk's suffering, but he will also feed off of the massive suffering that the Hulk causes while going on an insane rampage. It's a win-win, all-you-can-eat buffet of suffering for Mephisto. So I believe that is going to be the next client for Mephisto, and it'll be the way that we can finally get our Planet Hulk or World Breaker Hulk movie for Marvel. And yeah, that's it. So you guys let me know, what did you think about my Mephisto theory? Do you think that the Hulk could actually be the way Mephisto works his dirty, crazy, dark magic, and that could be how we get that World Breaker Hulk movie? What do you think about the theory? Whatever you think, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. All right. I hope that was good enough. You know, different. I ain't heard nobody say that. If y'all hear anybody talking about the Hulk and Mephisto, y'all better tell them E-Man said it first. Please. I specifically waited because I didn't want, and I only checked the main source. I ain't check all the other small channels. So I don't know. But I wanted to wait. I wanted to make sure didn't nobody talk about it. I ain't heard nobody say nothing. So I hope this is unique enough. Anyway, I'll polish that up later. Do a short, whatever. We got one here. Let's see. Wakandan, what you got? I'm disappointed that for such a genius, talented, and sought after mind in Riri, she had to stoop down to neighborhood criminal activity for money. In my honest opinion, stupid stuff necessary for the plot to work. It doesn't. I mean, maybe, like being book smart does not mean that you're street smart. Like that's also a thing too. Like you can be intellectually smart and still do dumb things. You're talking about somebody who was running away from a car and didn't want to zigzag or turn. So yeah, it's one of those things where like I hear you. I'm sure that there could have been a different way. But the thing is like, it's not like she wasn't still using her genius. She was doing the homework for MIT students. She was making inventions that we hadn't seen before. She was doing things that, yeah, they were illegal, but I don't think they compromised her intellect in any way. Does it compromise her morality? Sure. But you could say the same thing for Scott Lang. He got a whole master's PhD in engineering and all that, but he was doing petty crimes, stealing stuff. Tony Stark, genius, billionaire inventor, selling weapons. Like, you got a lot of people that are talented in the MCU that end up doing dumb stuff that you would think, why do you even need to do this? Like, what, you could be doing something else, So if we can give all them other people a pass, I'm gonna give Riri a pass. That's just how I feel on it. All right, but thank you so much for that. I appreciate you. All right, so I think that's it. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming in and hanging out with me. Appreciate that so much. We have nothing coming up right now, so next Friday. Yep, I will see you guys next Friday. Please enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. Shout out to everybody celebrating the 16 days after Juneteenth. All right, guys, that's all I got. You know the routine. Please be safe out there. Have fun. Don't blow up no fingers. Be safe around them fireworks now. You know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.